been a bit of a minute. I hope everybody's doing okay. Um, I know that I was gone for about 2 out of the 3 days I'm supposed to stream, and I'll explain that in a minute. Why I was gone and where I was. I know that it's probably best practice as a creator not to tell people where you are heading to before you go there, or to put up like any Instagram stories or any update stories at all about where you're going, even though I don't really use Instagram, or I only post a TikTok story if it's to go live and let everybody know I'm live streaming. So, yeah, but I'm back, and I feel refreshed. I'm actually very fatigued and tired, so I'm trying to get as good of a night's sleep as I can. However, I'm realizing that my bed isn't that comfortable anymore. I don't know what happened, but like my bed, my back, and my bed don't seem to be getting along. I sleep much better on my boyfriend's bed, so I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. Um, we'll have to figure it out. But it's Sunday today. How's everybody doing? Are we okay? Are we healthy? Are we happy? Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I'm very excited for that, though. I am probably not gonna have a big Thanksgiving. My partner and I agreed to just go to a restaurant and eat somewhere, and then like Thanksgiving Eve, and then just spend it at home. Because we spent a lot of money on our trip, okay, and so, or he spent the money. I I saved some money up, but he spent majority of the money, and to those of you who are wondering where I was between Sunday and this past, technically Thursday, right? Um, went to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Yes, I went to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. I've been talking about Universal Studios for a while now in my other channel, and also just on here, about how I think that when it comes to um, the upgrades that Universal has done with Epic Universe and just overall vibes, I kind of favor Universal a little bit more right now. Of course, Disney is always going to be a ship gold standard, most magical place on earth. But outside of Disney's like horrible conglomerate business practices and the way they treat smaller creators of IPs, like Dana Terrace with her the Owl House, and just like overall quality in some of their movies, or even like Marvel for an example, because the last phase of Marvel was awful. This phase is okay, but the last phase, when they started introducing all of the channel or the streaming shows, the web series, the miniseries, that's where it got sloppy. But I say all that to say, while Disney is still like ship gold standard and fun, I am favoring Universal a little bit more when it just comes to like logistics, um, park entertainment, being able to walk around the park without feeling overwhelmed. So I went to Disney Springs the first day I came to Orlando, Florida. I wanted to go to Disney Springs because I wanted a Mickey Mouse sugar cookie. I love those things. When I was working at the Disney College program, I had a Mickey Mouse sugar cookie, and it was amazing. I would always eat them between that and the caramel apples. I was literally running off of that while I was working the Sunset Boulevard and Animation Courtyard when I was like 19, 20. And I don't know. I had a very pessimistic attitude working at Disney, and honestly, I don't blame anybody that works at Disney currently having a pessimistic attitude. And honestly, a lot of the Disney College Program kids, because I was a part of the Disney College Program, they run them like slaves. Like point blank period. They run them like slaves. And again, this goes back to Disney's like shitty business practices. Um, they will work the Disney College Program kids like slaves because they don't have health insurance and they're not able to unionize. But the actual coworkers who really want to be there, who are very energetic, who just want to be there for the vibes and to be around people and have fun, they don't give them any hours at all, and they pay them literal dust. On top of that, based off of when I was first there like 10 years ago in like 2014 to now, okay, so that's like 10, 11 years later. Okay, just Disney Springs alone was hella crowded. And I don't even think it was because of the holiday season, because we're in off season now. Usually off season for a lot of amusement parks is around this time. Universal said that they're not in their peak season. And so we were at a time where they were not supposed to be that crowded. And they still were. Let that sink in, okay? Like, there were so many people, and this was around the time, like, the day we were traveling, the day prior to traveling, my stomach hurt really, really bad. And then the day of traveling, my stomach was, like, calming down. However, when we got to the resort, we stayed at the Cabana Bay Resort. We didn't know that we had to check in, like, the latest we could check in was, or the earliest we could check in was probably like 4 p.m. technically. They did leave us on a wait list for our room to be open, but obviously our room wasn't open. And so when I first walked into the Cabana Bay hotel and I was looking around and seeing all these people waiting with their luggage, I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, why isn't anybody in the rooms? And it's because check-in time is at 4 p.m. and I had no idea about that. So that was irritating. That was really freaking annoying. So the day of, like, our plans were thwarted a little bit, but we worked it out. We were able to check in our luggage, and then we just hung out at City Walk. We hung out at City Walk and kind of did a sneak peek preview of like what merchandise we'd want to get. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough merchandise this time, but to be fair, I am still fun employed, and what little money I could save was really just going towards like food and sustenance. So I wasn't able to buy some of the stuff that I wanted to get, I guess is the best way to put it. Like food alone, roughly for like 3 to 4 days, was anywhere between like $200 to $300. Now that I know that, next time I think because I want to go back to Universal, I'm probably gonna bring food. I'm probably gonna bring food to the parks and just hide it away. I know they scan our bags at the front, but I don't think Universal is one to care about that stuff. But yeah, I think I should just pack snacks. Now that I've like eaten at the places I wanted to eat at and just see what their food is like, I think it'd be best just to pack snacks and not spend so much money on food unless it's like a novelty item. And so I got there first day. We got there first day. We walked around City Walk. It was really nice. The vibes were great. And weather was good. And I had a butterbeer. I spiked my butterbeer with vodka. I know I shouldn't have, but I spiked it. And then I don't know what it was, whether it was the butterbeer or the vodka, but after that, my stomach hurt the entire night. So then when we finally stayed at the hotel, I wasn't able to fall asleep. I was like, my stomach was hurting the whole entire time. And so then when I finally woke my partner up to go to Disney Springs, we went, and there was a lot of people. Not only was there a lot of people, but I wasn't able to get my Mickey Mouse sugar cookie, and I was devastated. Though I'm not surprised because there were way too many people, and I was feeling very overstimulated, and usually I'd be okay with it, but I think in this case, because I wasn't feeling well, my stomach was hurting, and I wasn't used to walking as much as I used to anymore, which we'll get to that in a minute, like what was going on with my feet at Disney and in Florida. But I was just like really, really, really frustrated. So no sugar cookie, and on top of that, I was hoping that me and my partner could eat at Disney Springs until we saw the prices, and we were like, oh no, we're not Disney Springs because it's just like the problem with Disney is that they glorify everything. Like, if you wanted to eat Chinese food at Disney Springs, you'd eat glorified Chinese food. Why? Because Disney is behind it, and they're broadcasting some, I don't know, A-list celebrity chef. I don't know. And I didn't want to eat there. I didn't want to spend like 30-40 bucks for like a 6 dumpling dim sum appetizer. Are you kidding me? When like right around the corner there's a little Chinatown where we could eat dim sum for like 10 bucks. Like sorry, or like 5 bucks, even cheaper. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Even though the food smelled good, we decided not to eat there. But by the time we got back to the Universal property, our lift had gotten lost a couple times, so we had to keep rerouting. But by the time we actually did get there, it was super late. We ate at the Hard Rock Cafe. We ate at the Hard Rock Cafe twice. I couldn't even finish my food, which is a rarity for me. So already with the way the trip was starting, for me personally, I knew, okay, when we get back home, we gotta like lock in with like get back on track with like eating healthier and figuring out what's going on, because like you have a stomach ache. And it really, like, the stomach ache really got bad as soon as I like downed all the butterbeer, which was unfortunate. And it's just like me walking around and I feel really bloated, so it was really, really bad. Then the next couple days were fun. The first day we went to Island of Adventure and I rode the Velocicoaster in Jurassic Park World, and that was very, 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 very fun. I also was in Harry Potter Land and I rode the Gryffindor coaster, and I feel like me and my boyfriend, hello, hi, how are you? I feel like me and my boyfriend would have probably rode the Hagrid's motorbike coaster. By the way, I'm not like a Harry Potter fan, though I do want to read the books, and we'll put a pin in like my decision on reading the books. We'll put a pin in that. But I was drinking butterbeer. I was at the Harry Potter Land in Island of Adventure, because Harry Potter Land is on all 3 parks, right? So there's a Harry Potter Land. I think it's, I don't know what it's called, girl, because I haven't read Harry Potter. But like there's like one Harry Potter Land where there's snow, and then they have like one really big ride, right? Then there's another Harry Potter Land where there's no snow, but they have the Gringotts Bank, which was the ride I really liked, or I thought I liked. And then they have the new one in Epic Universe, where I guess Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is. And they have the Ministry of Magic. And this other land that had the one ride that I don't know the name of, but it's Hogwarts basically, right? And you ride in Hogwarts, and it kind of has the same setup and architecture as Monsters Unleashed in Epic Universe, but it's Hogwarts. And so I rode the Gryffindor ride. Something with a griffin. I don't know. I kept hearing Hagrid's voice. I don't know the name of the coaster. Let me look it up. Hagrid ride, Universal. Okay, so there's Hagrid's Magical Creatures and Motorbikes. Okay, Hagrid ride, roller coaster. And then there was another one, and I don't know the name of the other one, but I know there was a 45-minute wait time, and you could see Hagrid's house, and Hagrid's the guy with the bushy hair in Harry Potter, and that was fun. I enjoyed it, but I didn't really appreciate the 45-minute wait. The Velocicoaster only had like a 20-minute wait time, which I was into, and I liked the interactions while waiting in line. Very good design of the line. I saw Chris Pratt and I saw Bryce Dallas Howard, and then The ride itself, the Velocicoaster, was intense. It was very intense, but it was very, very fun. And I was not ready, but I enjoyed myself the whole entire time. And then after that, my partner rode the Incredible Hulk. And so I don't know what happened this visit, but I used to be like a roller coaster junkie to an extent, and I just couldn't get into the coasters. So my boyfriend rode the Incredible Hulk coaster, and he also rode Return of the Mummy, and I never rode them. I didn't ride them at all. And I used to ride Return of the Mummy like on repeat when I was working at the Disney College program. But I don't know, between my feet hurting a lot, or not really hurting, but like just getting tired of walking, and feeling overstimulated by like going on my first trip and being out of the house, I was just like, I don't really like want to go on roller coasters. I think the next time I go to Universal, I want to ride every single roller coaster they have, including the Velocicoaster again. But yeah, I didn't even go on. We both didn't even go on the Epic Universe roller coaster, the Stardust Racers, which looked very beautiful. And I heard is more like a free fall feeling, whereas the Velocicoaster is more of a thrilling ride. We never got to ride that. Day 2, we went to Universal Studios, and that's where I ate the ice cream at the Harry Potter land. I'm so sorry that I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Me and my boyfriend are not Harry Potter fans at all, and we felt really, really bad, like taking up space. Do you ever have that feeling where it's like people are super geeked out over like a piece of media, entertainment, a celebrity, a musician, or whatever, and it's like you get the opportunity to go to this event of this particular individual, and regardless, like, you don't know who this individual is, this piece of media is, you've never read it, you've never like engrossed yourself in it, and so you feel like you're taking space. Like, you feel like someone else who's more of a fan should be here. That's what it felt like being in Harry Potter. And I've been to Harry Potter Land twice, okay? The first time was like 10 years ago. Fast forward, now I'm a lot older, and I'm still like, this is cool. I get it, but like I don't have like that Disney adult attitude towards it, because I haven't really watched a lot of the movies, and I haven't read the books, but I do want to read the books, because I want to be a part of the awesomeness of Harry Potter Land. But again, put a pin in that, because I have some thoughts on the books. We went on Island of Adventure. We rode the Dr. Seuss ride. That was a cute little moment. We also, and then in Universal, we rode a lot of the dark rides. My boyfriend really liked the Spider-Man ride in Island of Adventure, and so we rode that twice. But he was like so sad, because he was like, when I first went to Island of Adventure in like the 2000s, it was like a 2.5-hour wait time to go on the Spider-Man ride, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Now it's just like a 5-minute wait time. But that, like, I don't know, the Island of Adventure Spider-Man dark ride still holds up to this day. Like, with any of the new dark rides that have come out, even like Gringotts Bank, which is another dark ride, it still holds up. I'd say the dark ride that comes close to, the dark ride that does a lot better, is the Ministry of Magic and Epic Universe. That's a really good dark ride, because they're using animatronics, they're using projection, they're using like the 3D screen and like a combo of both, so it kind of works. But I've also realized that those rides are very, very hard. Like, it seems like they're very hard to maintain. And where Universal has like really cool ideas in owning or like wanting to push a lot of other intellectual properties on their parks, I feel like, I don't know, and this isn't me being mean towards Universal or being like critical of them, as much as it's just something I've noticed, but it feels like those dark rides, the rides that have a lot of like animatronic heavy projection integration of the two, it feels like a lot of those rides need a lot of maintenance, and I don't know if the Universal team like has the people to help maintain it. Whereas like Disney, right? Like they have the whole Imagineer team, you know, and so I don't know if the Snow White roller coaster ride. What was the name of the Snow White roller coaster ride? But if one of the rides, like Space Mountain, goes down for like a day, it'll probably be up in the next day, no problem. You know, or like they'll be able to fix it, no problem. There was a lot of delays, and there was a lot of ride delays, and there were some rides that we really wanted to ride that were closed. One of them included the Hogwarts ride, which I don't know the name of. I'm so sorry, but the ride where you kind of strapped in and they like rock you around through Hogwarts, right? And then when we were in Epic Universe, we went to Monsters Unleashed. We went into that world, which I think is the first in America that I know of, like the first like haunted theme park, like you know what I mean. And it was cool. It was dope. We didn't ride the Wolf roller coaster. This was at day 3 that we went to Epic Universe, so at that point, you know, I was exhausted. My boyfriend was exhausted. we were really there for Nintendo World, but we were able to walk through Frankenstein's castle, and we were able to see the animatronics for Frankenstein, like the very beginning of the ride. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous to get on the ride, but the ride was closed. So we weren't able to see the dark ride where it's called Monsters Unleashed, and it's basically Frankenstein duking it out with the werewolf and Frankenstein's granddaughter trying to reclaim the name of the monster. You know, it's very like, I don't know, Marvel's Avengers coded, like Marvel's Avengers of classic horror monsters. And so you see Frankenstein multiple times. You see Dracula. I think it's the Phantom of the Opera. You see Frankenstein's granddaughter, who looks like a baddie, by the way. That girl looks like Frankenstein's granddaughter looks like a bad bitch. Okay, like I was looking at her in the castle, and the paintings of her, stunning, sickening. And then you saw the werewolf multiple times. You saw the mummy. I think you saw Frankenstein's bride like flying around. And the only reason why I know this isn't because I rode the ride. It's because I watched previews of the ride on YouTube. Because I really wanted to know what happens. But unfortunately, I was not able to ride the ride at Universal because it was closed. But we were able to tour the whole. We were able to tour the whole house. So, Epic Universe, very, very good job in world building when it comes to, and set design when it comes to their theme parks. And so when you literally go through the little orbs in Epic Universe, you're taken to another world. And so for Frankenstein's ride, or for Monsters Unleashed, that universe, like it really does feel like you're in a haunted house attraction, like, you know, a permanent version of Halloween Horror Nights, if you will. From the stores to the sets, but even Frankenstein's castle that felt like a haunted house but really wasn't, like, because there aren't any jump scares or anything. Just the amount of detail that went into the paintings and the sound effects and the lighting, and like you could see the 3D projected screen of the bat, and then you could see the old Frankenstein corpse that was used, that or the old monster corpse that Dr. Frankenstein had used, that you know, died at the end, I guess. And you know, all the like research done to create Frankenstein. You know, it was really, really cool. That's all I'm gonna say. It was really cool. And I don't do haunted houses. I'm terrified of haunted houses. I want to be brave enough to go to Halloween Horror Nights, but I am terrified of haunted houses. And I was like impressed and amazed and taking pictures the whole entire way. And then we finally got to see the animatronic of Frankenstein's granddaughter and Frankenstein, and I lost my shit because Frankenstein is my husband. Okay, he's on the roster of X's fictitious husbands. Okay, husbandos and waifus. and he Frankenstein's there. I don't know why, but the more I learn about Frankenstein and like what the messaging is supposed to be and the themes that people come up with or create based off of the literature, the more I am invested in Frankenstein as a monster. And so I geeked out when I saw the Frankenstein animatronic come out when, you know, Frankenstein's granddaughter like introduced him and said that he's like a new version and he's not violent, and I don't know, he was just so cute to me. I don't and then I also saw a glimpse of him in the park as well, like walking around like a meet and greet character with Frankenstein's a wife, Bride of Frankenstein. That was fun. I also saw Igor walking around, and Igor is the person in he's like the scientist assistant that when you walk through Frankenstein's castle, he like introduces you to the ride and talks about the experiment that has gone wrong. And like I said, it's basically like classic horror monsters Avengers. You see all types of monsters, right? But the animatronics were beautiful. They were flawless. They were stunning. They were sickening. And I geeked out, and I was the only one that geeked out, and everybody was probably pissed off. I'm pretty sure you could hear my voice in about like 20 to 30 people's video recordings of Frankenstein. But that ride looks so awesome, and when I go back again, I'm definitely gonna ride the ride, the Frankenstein ride. I'm definitely gonna ride Incredible Hulk, Velocicoaster, because I've already done it. The Mummy. I'm just gonna ride all the rides I didn't get to because I was just like not. I don't know. I was just doing a lot of walking, and I've been out of shape for a minute, so I was just really like tired, but I had a really good time. One thing I will say about Universal, or something that I just noticed in general, I don't know if it's like a universal thing or if it's just like where we're at in the world right now, but I saw a lot of like alternative looking people at Universal. I don't know if that's like where the alt folks like fester. I also saw them at Disney. I don't know if they just like Disney adults, Universal, like theme park adults, like alt adults, like hang out at like Universal and Disney, right? But I saw a lot of them. Okay, so people are awesome, and I love people down. And it's just so cool to be around so many different types of people with so many different types of looks, and so many, like, coming from so many different walks of life. Like, that was really fun. I haven't been around that many people since Dragon Con of last year, 2024. I haven't been around that many people. And so I didn't know how to act. So I was, like, geeked up over, like, the dumbest stuff. I will say that when I was at Disney Springs, I feel bad for the DCP kids, the Disney College Program kids, because like they don't know what's going on, and there's just so many people there. And the one thing I hate about Disney now is that they don't know how to manage their parks. Like, nobody wants to go to Disney World and wait 4 hours to ride the Toy Story Dog Slinky ride, or wait 7 hours to ride the Star Wars Dark ride from the new trilogy. Like, nobody wants to do that, you know? And I feel bad because it just sucks for a lot of the DCP kids to have to deal with that. And it used to be when you were working at the Disney College Program, you could work at the parks and then you could just squeeze in the parks anytime. I hear that nowadays you can't even squeeze, like walk and roam free in the parks as a non-cast member. Like, you literally have to, there's certain days that you can go to the parks now. And there's certain days where you can't be at the parks as a cast member. And that sucks. Because I remember, like, after work being like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go to Magic Kingdom, and I'm going to get a special edition Mickey Mouse sugar cookie. I'm gonna see the castle fireworks, and then I'm gonna ride Space Mountain. And I just ride it as like a single rider, and I just remember doing that. And the whole time I was there, I was like, damn, I really wish I was working here again. Not just Disney, but not Disney really, but more so Universal, because I don't know, when the pandemonium, when COVID happened, and everybody was at home, the one thing I kept thinking about, and the one like little regret I had, is me not being a little bit more positive when I was working at Disney, Walt Disney World Resort, because, you know, in less than 5 years or so, less than a decade later, we were all stuck inside and told not to do anything. You know, I could also tell how different people are after the pandemic hit, which I can't blame people for, you know, reacting the way they do after the pandemonium. Like, the pandemonium took a lot out of people. So I feel like a bunch of 30-year-olds are still in Arrested Development and think that they're 25, and a bunch of 25-year-olds are still in Arrested Development and think that they are, you know, just graduating and heading off to college. So things are a little bit different now. I did get Gen Z stared at by the worker at Goofy's bake shop in Disney Springs, because I crashed out because they didn't have a Mickey Mouse sugar cookie. I wasn't crashing out at her at all. No. I wasn't crashing out at her. But she gave me the Gen Z stare. I was on the receiving end of that. And you know what? It's okay. It's fine. I get it. Like, you've been working long hours and you've been dealing with so many entitled Disney adults. Like, the last thing you need is like some weirdo crashing out on you, even though I wasn't crashing out on her at all. But the last thing you need is like somebody, you know, freaking out about a Mickey Mouse sugar cookie. So, and like I said, I did not crash out on her. I was just like, ah, damn it. And then I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, they don't have the sugar cookie. And then I was like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. She just gave me the meanest Gen Z stare the whole entire time. Which I don't mind, because I would have probably had the same attitude if I were her. So, like, you know what? As long as she getting her coin, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, ma'am. I'm here for it. Okay? Yes, Gen Z stare those cringy ass Disney adults all the way down. Please, myself included. But yeah, the trip was really fun. I enjoyed myself a ton. Oh, Nintendo World. Okay, so we're gonna get into that. Phenomenal. Gorgeous. I really did feel like I was in the game. And there's an orb. Each universe in Epic Universe, each park in Epic Universe has an orb that you walk through, and then it takes you into that world. And so Epic Universe had Nintendo World, Monsters Unleashed, How to Train Your Dragon, and then Harry Potter World. And so that was the first place we saw, and we made sure to get up extra bright and extra early so that we can go. Walked right into the orb, up the escalator, through the green pipes, went straight to Nintendo World, and oh my god, it was beautiful. And so come to find out, maybe there were a lot of old people there, because old people kind of do nerdy shit, like gaming. I don't even know if gaming's nerdy anymore, but they tend to game and watch anime and stuff. So like maybe that's why I saw so many old people at Universal. But I saw a lot of people with a lot of tattoos. I saw a lot of people with a lot of like colorful hair. And I don't know, I've been paying attention to tattoos a lot lately, so maybe that's a sign that, like, in the next couple of years I should get one, but I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm scared of commitment. But neither here nor there. Nintendo World was amazing. We rode all the rides. We rode the Mario Kart ride. We figured out that single rider for Mario Kart's ride was a lot shorter than, riding together. So we rode single ride for Mario Kart. that's another dark ride. Okay, so I said the Spider-Man ride was really good, one of my favorites, but honestly, it's like up in the top three. It's between the Mario ride and the Ministry of Magic. And I feel like if I was more of a Harry Potter fan, I'd lean a little bit more towards Ministry of Magic, but I'm not. So that Mario Kart ride was amazing. They did the integration of animatronics with like the 3D screens, and then you put on the visors, so then you can like actually play the game and like shoot the little turtle shells at the characters. They did that really well, and like taking you through all of the racetracks, you know, like all the timeless classic ones. Rainbow Road was at the end, and that was really nice. That's the only one I know. I'm sorry, I'm not really like a big Mario fan. Sorry. But oh my god, it was really good. We rode the Donkey Kong minecart ride, which was like a mini, like a baby roller coaster. It was fun, but I was too focused on the coaster tracks than I was on the actual like figures in the background, right? Which was like Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, like all the Kong families, right? Donkey Kong came at the very end when he did like the Donkey Kong Smash. I noticed him, but all the other ones I didn't really notice because I was too busy looking at the tracks because the tracks look so cool. And I think that's another thing I noticed about the parks is just like how well thought out and how attentive to detail each little park was. I thought that was amazing. Like, set building and world design could go toe to toe with Disney. Low key, high key. We rode the Yoshi World ride, which is similar to like if you're at Magic Kingdom, it's a small world, but it's with Yoshis, and it's cute. It was cute, and again, like I was taking pictures of like the way they were painting certain textures, like the way they painted a pole. Like the green pipes that Mario slides down to. I was like taking pictures of that because I thought it was so cool, and how each little subsection of Nintendo World really took you into like a different universe. I saw Cranky Kong at the beginning of the line experience for the Donkey Kong ride. The Donkey Kong ride had taken a lot out of us because the wait time, the ride was delayed. All right, so like I said, Universal gets from what I've noticed, they get a lot of like delayed rides. Okay, so the ride was delayed for the Donkey Kong ride, and I told my boyfriend like we can stay here for like maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, and if it doesn't open up, we gotta go. But luckily, you know, it was back up again, and we were able to ride. And I rode next to people from Sao Paulo, Brazil, which was so cool. Like, so many different people from all different walks of life. It was awesome. So, I really had a great time with the Donkey Kong ride and the Donkey Kong universe. And while waiting in line, there's an animatronic of Cranky Kong and a parrot talking. I don't know what the parrot's name is. No, like I said, I'm not a big Nintendo fan, sorry. But they were talking to each other. And it was the cutest thing ever. And I couldn't help but think, I told my boyfriend this because we have this thing where we're really into like dank animatronics, right? But when I was a kid, I used to be horrified of animatronics. Like, between 3 to like 7 years old, Baby Exodus was not having it with animatronics. Like, you couldn't take me to Chuck E. Cheese without me freaking out. Every time, like, the mascots for Chuck E. Cheese, oh, no. I was a kid hiding under the table. I did not want to see that big, like, poorly built mascot mouse. Get him out of here, you know? So, when I saw the Cranky Kong animatronic, I thought it was so cool. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But I know for a fact, if I was like 3 or like 7 or 6 or 5 years old, I would be crying my eyes out by how horrifying it looked. And it wasn't even the scariest monster. Technically the scariest like animatronic. Technically the scariest animatronic would be Frankenstein, though he's just like sitting there and like agreeing with the... agreeing with Frankenstein's daughter, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, something about like anthropomorphic animatronics doesn't do it for me, or mascots, you know. So I would have lost my shit between the ages of 3 to 7 years old. But you know, I'm grown now, and so I see Cranky Kong animatronic, and I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. Like he's telling jokes, and this is awesome, you know. But I thought that was a nice add-in while waiting in line, is that you can see Cranky Kong on his rocking chair talking to the parrot. Again, I don't know the parrot's name. Sorry, but like, I also think Donkey Kong needs like a his own movie. I do. I think Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong was an excellent choice. But I also think that he probably should get his own movie, low key. But yeah, I don't know. Nintendo's like the Disney for video games, so it makes sense that Nintendo World would exist in Universal and it would do phenomenally well. I joked to my boyfriend where I was like, I feel like I'm in art school again because of how different everybody looked. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. The Celestial Park was nice. That's another park, a part of the Epic Universe. And then we walked through How to Train Your Dragon Park because like young Gen Z and Gen Alpha loves How to Train Your Dragon. Maybe older Gen Z too. I watched How to Train Your Dragon when I was in high school, so I was like, okay, this is cool. I knew that Chris Sanders designed Toothless. Chris Sanders is the character designer who designed Stitch, so I know that he designed Toothless for DreamWorks, the black dragon without the teeth. I like Toothless. He's cute, so he's adorable. But like, I'm not really a big How to Train Your Dragon fan. I'd say the one regret I have is not riding all the roller coasters, and not being able to see a lot of shows. I know at Universal we saw the Bourne Supremacy, the Bourne Ultimatum stunt show, and I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking, does a Matt Damon movie really need like a stunt show? It feels like it's taking up space for something cooler to be here. I don't know what, but for like whatever next proxy action show needs to be, or like popular action series comes out, like I think what would make sense is the movies with Keanu Reeves. I forgot the name of the movies. But God, what are they? What the action movies that he does? John Wick. John Wick would make more sense for like a stunt like performance than, I don't know, Matt Damon Bourne Ultimatum. Like, I don't know. Like, who's checking for Bourne Ultimatum in 2025? I also rode the Jimmy Fallon Dark Ride. Okay, so a couple rides in Universals were rebooted. There was a movie ride where you could like be brought into the universe of the movie and like experience what a natural disaster would look like and how movies create these natural disasters. And so it would be like a little subway that'd take you through the bottom of New York, and there'd be like all these crashes and all of that, and then flooding and all that, and it was really cool to see. And they got rid of it, and they replaced it with this weird Fast and Furious dark ride. I saw Tyrese, my Shayla. I saw Tyrese. I saw Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I saw most of the cast, Vin Diesel. Most of the cast of what's it called? Fast and Furious. But the ride itself was doing way too much. Me and my boyfriend were like, when in Fast and Furious were they doing all of this? Like, again, it's like another like IP that like has been around for a while, but also does the most for no damn reason. Like, I'd rather see Grand Theft Auto there than Fast and Furious. Like, who knows? Maybe with the success of Nintendo World, maybe Universal will lean more into like that video game pocket, right? And so they'll have like Grand Theft Auto there. Then we rode the Jimmy Fallon Race to New York ride. It was originally a ride that where Twister was supposed to be. And the Twister ride was okay. I was really bored during the Twister ride when I first saw it, like 10 years ago. But I rode the Jimmy Fallon, journey to New York or whatever, and it was immersive, but it was also just like, why does Jimmy Fallon need like a race kart racing ride through New York? Why does he need that? He's like a show host. He's not like a ride guy. You know what I mean? It was just weird. It was cool, but it was just weird, and Sarah was there. I guess his little character bit that he does on the show, but I wasn't into it. And so we rode the Minion ride. That was cute. That was cute. The little sit-down Minion ride, but then one of the workers like stopped the ride to tell us to sit down, and so and then started the ride again. That was funny. And then I walked through the Wicked installation where they had all the costumes that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo wore, and like all the characters wore. Yeah, Wicked's very like, I didn't know Wicked was as big as it is. This is what happens when you live under a rock. But like the girls love Wicked. Like I knew that Wicked was big, but I didn't know it was like, let's open up a whole installation and put the original costumes from the movie big. And that was impressive. So I went to go see Wicked, or the Wicked installation, and I took a picture of all the costumes, and they look beautiful because, Wicked is known, even when it came out in like 20 years ago, it was always known for its elaborate costumes. I took a picture of the costumes that Cynthia Erivo wore. I took a picture of the costumes that Ariana Grande wore as Glinda. Elphaba, they're all very, very beautiful. The new costumes that Ariana Grande wears in the upcoming movie For Good, or it's already came out. The new costume that Cynthia Erivo wears, some of the characters from Shiz, Fiero's costume, took a picture of all that. Beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. Love the setup. Love that there's a Wicked merch. I want a Wicked ride. You could also meet the Wicked characters too. I didn't meet any characters. I saw Elphaba and Glinda like from far, far away, and I took a picture of them. They looked phenomenal. They looked gorgeous, and they were very on character, so that was nice. I also saw a Scooby-Doo meet and greet. Can we do a hard reboot of Scooby-Doo? Like an aggressively hard reboot. Like, okay, Skull Island from the Scooby-Doo live action. You know that that haunted theme park that the live action Scooby-Doo characters were trying to solve a mystery in? Why not put that as a water park at Universal? Like, turn Volcano Bay into Skull Island. I don't know. A lot of the girls have been saying that would be dope, and I think it would be dope too. And I want an aggressive reboot for Scooby-Doo. I want like a newfound love, a newfound passion for Scooby-Doo. I want everyone to be geeked up over Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo's dope. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I know I want it to happen. Maybe it needs to be a CW show. If CW even exists, maybe it needs to be a Netflix series. I don't know. But like, Stranger Things is going to be gone after this season, okay? So if you want to do something with like a ragtag group of like teens, I think Scooby-Doo's right up in the alley. You just have to be careful with live actions. You gotta be careful with them, because they can either go really good or really, really bad. So I saw the Scooby-Doo characters. I saw Marilyn Monroe on like the Boulevard, I guess. That was interesting. And I also saw Betty Boop. Betty Boop was cute. So I saw her in the distance. I also saw Marty McFly at Universal, and that really felt like a relic of its time. I don't know, like, the girls aren't really into the Back to the Future like that. No one's really checking for Back to the Future like that, so I don't know, maybe they could update it a little bit, in my opinion. I went on the Simpsons Dark Ride, and they need to update. I don't know, I just felt like they needed to update the graphics for the Simpsons ride. It was really long waiting for the Simpsons ride, But then also, like, Krusty the Clown kept talking the whole time, and I just got a little annoyed with that. But I had a fun time. I was the only one geeked up in my room pod. So that was embarrassing, I guess. But I went on the Transformers ride. I love the Transformers ride. Timeless. It's similar to the Dark ride with Spider-Man. But I don't know. With the exception of like Megatron at the end, if you look up, you can see Megatron, like falling into the ceiling. Like I don't know. It's just an okay. It's a fun ride, but it's not. It's not like the Mario ride or the Ministry of Magic. Ministry of Magic was really cool. Again, I felt like I was taking up way too much space as somebody who isn't a Harry Potter fan, but I had so much fun riding the Ministry of Magic. And again, I like the idea of them incorporating the animatronics with the 3D screens, and like continuing the story, because I don't think Dolores Umbridge, I don't think her fate was like completely done at the end of the book. So Ministry of Magic, Battle at the Ministry is the magic government, I guess. A Harry Potter fan behind me explained this to me. It's a magic government, so they're basically like magic feds. That's the Ministry, all right? I know that Ron's dad works there. I know that. And Dolores Umbridge is like breaking into the Ministry of Magic to kind of like, I don't know, like take over or something. And so the whole mission is that you work with like Harry Potter, Ron, and Hermione to stop Dolores Umbridge from taking it over. And you end up doing that, and in the end you see Dolores like sentenced to like a lifetime in Azkaban. And then you also see her mugshot at the very beginning, which is really, really cool too. When you walk into the Ministry of Magic. But I didn't get to see the female Dobby. And that's what I'm calling her. I don't know what her real name is, but like there's a female Dobby there, I guess, that works at the Magic Ministry. And there's an animatronic of her just like talking and existing. And because we were in the single rider line, I didn't get to see her. And the single rider line was like an hour wait long. So I was pissed. But I got most of the experience, and I was able to take pictures of all the other little things there. And so that was cool. And then the little rhinoceros in the ride, you saw an animatronic of him, and he was dope. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just feel like I should have seen female Dobby. I really wanted to see her. Yeah. But we rode all of the Nintendo World. We got some pictures of Donkey Kong. We even got like some Donkey Kong cups from the dessert that they have, which is mixed with like Dole Whip and banana ice cream, and then has like banana drink at the bottom. So theme park food is just okay. We ate at the Toad's house. Again, I don't know the name of these characters. I know, cringe, fake gamer girl. Yeah, okay, so let me do it in game. We ate here. We ate here. And at Universal, it was good. Kinopio's Cafe. Yes, we ate there. Okay. Toadstool's Cafe. Yeah. So we ate here. It was pretty good. I mean, okay. Real talk. I mean, it's theme park food, so it was as okay as it was gonna get. I wouldn't say it was like the best thing ever, but I got a gigantic meatball with some hot sauce, and I was kind of into it. And my boyfriend got this burger, and we got this like tea drink. And then at Donkey Kong Universal Studios, Orlando, we got this thing, and I took a picture of it. It was good. It was good, but I got tired of it. We were like really, really tired by the third day, and we had like expended a lot of our energy, so we were just like, okay. Like, after we toured most of Universal, Epic Universe, we were like, let's go home and rest and come back later. And we did. because we wanted to see the monster park at night and we were able to walk around and see the monster park. We should have probably went to the haunted house. It would have probably been like a different vibe if we went to the haunted house at night. But I was able to get this like beaker vial thing, which was in um, the bar, like the tavern of the Monsters Unleashed park, and it's just a beaker where they would have like this passion fruit drink. Um, where is it? So yeah, sometimes they have like blood, like I guess a blood packet, but mine was like a little beaker at Universal Studios at Monsters Unleash. Oh, this is Halloween Horror Nights. Excuse me. No. All right, guys. I will be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. So 1 second, and then I'll talk about this beaker. I'm back. Hi. So we were talking about Epic Universe, and we were talking about the drink that's at Epic Universe, okay? And it's in the Monsters Unleashed, and it's like it's in the Monsters Unleashed land, and it's like a beaker, and they fill it up with passion fruit juice, like a mocktail. It looks really good. Um, However, I once again spiked mine. I spiked mine with vodka, a double shot of vodka. And it was still really good. It was really sweet, so the taste was able to balance out. Um, but I don't know. I like the little cups I got. I got a Harry Potter cup. I got the Donkey Kong mugs, two Donkey Kong mugs for my boyfriend, for myself. I got a Toad Mushroom cup, and then I got this beaker, and I've just been drinking water in it. I'd say this is my favorite one. I don't know why. It just makes me feel bougie in the morning. Drinking from, well, not really bougie, but I don't know. I don't know. It makes me feel good drinking from this beaker in the morning. But it had like this blue drink in it, and it was really, really good. And it even has little measurements, which I think is pretty awesome as well. I'm really in love with this beaker drink. Definitely recommend for you to get this if you are at Monsters Unleashed, if you're in that park. Okay, it's not Monsters Unleashed, it's called Monsters Unchained. Excuse me. Definitely recommend that you get the drink in Monsters Unchained. Um, yes, and then my here's the Frankenstein animatronic. Are they gonna make a movie? Yes, this is the Frankenstein animatronic that did it for me. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe the boots look like Doc Martens, and I'm kind of into that. But that's what did it. It don't take much, does it? Me and my weird hear me outs. But the animatronic looked really, really good. I just wish I could have rode the ride, but I know I would have been terrified. But I also would like. I've seen the ride multiple times to know what happens, but I don't know. It's like you're in the haunted, even though it's not really a haunting. It's just these characters going at it with each other. I don't know why the creature from the Black Lagoon. I keep calling him Swamp Thing, but the creature from the Black Lagoon was there. I don't know why. The Invisible Man was also there too. He's also walking around the parks. I don't know what the story is, but it feels like Universal is trying to set something up like a cinematic universe with the monsters. And I feel like we're probably gonna get a movie with Frankenstein's daughter. Like I don't know. I feel like a movie would put this more into context, because like out of context it's just like, well, how did these monsters meet each other? Like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? But it's still a very, very fun ride, and I enjoyed myself a lot. Yeah, but overall, Universal is a 10 out of 10. So I'm gonna briefly talk about this really quickly, and then I'm gonna do my Reddit Story Sunday, because I gotta do my Reddit Story Sunday, okay? And that's what we're all here for. Excuse me. First and foremost, I love me some JT. I do. I also love me some Zara Larson. Okay, I think they are really cool girly pops. I like JT and her progression towards like being more fashion oriented. And like having like this it girl factor about herself, where she's really trying to get into her fashion bag, experiment with different styles and whatnot. I really like that for her. And I like that she's rapping on her own. I think she's, I don't know, maybe like the brains behind the City Girls with Young Miami. Young Miami just seen there to like, get a bag. JT seems like she actually wants to rap. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that she has her time in the spotlight to be able to do so. Also, JT has had some situations where she's been problematic. I'm thinking about the time when she clapped back at that pregnant lady online for just asking a simple question about her makeup kit or her lip kit with MAC. Um, that wasn't cool. But I don't know. JT's like one of my problematic faves, so I love her down. And I like that she really is taking like the rapping of it. Well, I wouldn't say taking the rapping of it seriously as much as she's like really getting into being independent, but I really like that she's taking like the fashion part of like being like a pop star or like a rapping it girl. She's like really experimenting with her style and really taking it a bit more seriously, in my opinion, because she's like a fashion girl. And then Zara Larsson's just talented, like a very very talented Scandinavian pop star queen. Okay, um, Zara Larsson is an example of like old school pop talent, is what I'm gonna call it, where it isn't that you just look the look and you can be sold off of the vibes and aesthetics of an artist. Like what we do with a lot of artists now. It's the work ethic, it's her ability to sing and dance and sing well. It's her consistency. Um, she's a good singer and she's a great dancer. And I actually had a lot of fun listening to her Midnight Summer or and Never Ending Midnight Sun. I had a lot of fun listening to that album. And I don't know if y'all can give space to other artists out there. I think you can create space for Zara Larsson. I don't know. I think she's very, very talented. I think that, I don't know, in the next couple years, maybe people will finally be like, oh shit, no, Zara's that girl, because she really high key is. I like Zara Larsson down. And she's been consistent. She's been in the game since she was like 16, 17, like mid 2010s making music. And her voice is really, really unique. So I like Zara Larsson. I like JT for the looks that she's giving and her going solo dolo and like experimenting with her style. Her rap style is what I wanted to say. Because she came out with a song called Girls Gone Wild. And it was cute. I liked it. I like her being just weird. I like weird JT. It's different. It's outside of the box. Now, it has came out on Instagram that like apparently JT was copying Zara Larsson, right? And I don't know who this rap media is, but it seems like they have a bias. That read is good though. The 33-year-old wannabe main rap girl and 6 times Disney World visitor. That is so brutal because she's from Florida, right? Has no aesthetics of her own. And like that's not true. I think what we're seeing with JT is her trying to figure out what her aesthetic is. And I think overall, she's trying to be a fashion girly. So she's experimenting with different styles, and we're seeing that right now. Until she like settles in a style that she likes. I kind of like alternative JT. I do. When she was doing like the dark alternative makeup look. But this is cute. I like how honestly, okay, here's the thing. People are saying that she's copying Zara Larsson. I will say the Midnight Sun era of Zara Larsson is very, very, like, specific. Like, Lisa Frank, what is it, the coconut girl aesthetic, right? Early 2000s, lip smackers, chapstick, Claire's, neon colors, gaudy, all of that, right? Like, that is definitely what Zara Larsson's Midnight Sun era gives. However, people are saying that, JT's hopping on board and she's basically copying Zara Larsson. And the argument is, well, no, Zara Larsson is the one who's copying because the spray painted t-shirts is something that, we used to do in the hood here in like America, right? Or some people argue, no, that's like what you do in Florida when you're on the beach, something like that. I don't know. Here's what I'm going to say. From the top up, both people, like, no one's copying anybody from the top up, like, in my opinion. Like it's just like, like if anything, JT's from Florida. Like they probably have a bunch of spray paint shirts in the beach already that you can just buy. I have a spray painted shirt of my name, um, that I think I still own. It lasted a very long time. I've had it since I was like 8 years old, but I don't think it's good anymore. But I think it got holes in here in the seams here. But like I said, that's American culture, right? Nobody's copying anybody here. If anything, Zara Larson's getting that from like early 2000s Y2K American culture, and like, I don't really like, it is what it is, right? But like, Zara Larson isn't the originator of like the spray painted t-shirts. If anything, if you really want to get technical, okay, what's her name? Romani Motivation music video? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, all right? Like, she is the originator. Like, that's where I first started its resurgence come up again. Like, back in, like, late 2010, okay? So, yeah, no. I don't think from the top up anybody's copying anybody. I think that's just, like, if anything, that derived from Western American culture, and that's common for you to get like a spray painted shirt out in Florida, and JT's from Florida, so I'm gonna give it to JT. And Zara Larsson was just like inspired by that aesthetic, which is completely fine. But like, let's not get it twisted, okay? All right. So, but from the bottom down, okay, so now we can get technical with it, right? From the bottom down, I will say JT is copying Zara Larsson a little bit, but like, also, is it really copying, or is it just being inspired by and paying homage? I don't know. I think people get really finicky about this stuff online. I've heard beef with like other influencer fashion girlies feeling like people have stolen their style and be like, oh, you're stealing my outfit. You're an outfit stealer. And I don't know, dude. I remember when I was doing cosplay a lot, there was a drama between these two makeup artists, because like makeup cosplay was really, really popular. But there was a drama between two makeup artists where they both did a Danny Phantom cosplay, and one makeup artist accused the other makeup artist of like stealing his look. I wonder if I can Danny Phantom makeup steal. I don't think I'll be able to find it, because it was like so long ago. But yeah, I remember that was like something that was on Twitter for a minute when I was like in the cosplay space. I'm not really in it like that anymore, so but when you looked at the makeup looks, they didn't look the same at all. And usually what tends to happen is other cosplayers get inspired by other cosplayers, or there's a popular character, or say a character has a resurgence, and then like other cosplayers just cosplay that character, right? So it felt very, I don't know, disingenuous to accuse someone of copying you and copying your makeup look. If it's cosplay, because like, how much are you gonna like copy? How much are you gonna copy a character that's already like a fictitious character made by a completely different person, right? Like, I don't know. So I didn't know that it was that serious, how people will start nitpicking on social media and being like, oh, well, you copied my aesthetic, like you copied my look, you wore the same shoes that I did, and you wore the same style that I did. Another thing also this also happened with the natural hair shaping girls on TikTok as well, where there's like a whole group of natural hair enthusiasts who will shape their natural hair into like different like crazy shapes. It's really really cool, like stars, hearts, all of that. Um, and the same thing happened. I think, I don't know. It's just always very weird to me. I think people need to understand that sometimes it's not copying. Sometimes it's just paying homage. And I think with JT, she she's just experimenting with different styles. Like she's a fashion girl, so she's gonna experiment with different styles that are popular. I don't know. I feel like a lot of black folks like fuck with Zara Larson a little bit. I feel like they do. It's always like the gays and the black girls I see go up for Zara. Like Mooney Logs over here, like I love me some Zara Larson, you know, because Zara Larson's really talented. But I don't really see anything wrong with this. I feel like this is a non-issue to me, and if anything, maybe like, okay, so Zara Larson's taking this inspiration from the Symphony meme that came out years ago. So this is her version of like this Lisa Frank girly pop star, right? And maybe JT's doing her own like Floridian version of that. And I don't see anything wrong with it, because JT is from Florida. So yeah, that was just weird to me, and I wanted to talk about it. Any other drama that I know of? No. So with that in mind, let's get into, and I don't know, like stealing aesthetics, like, is also an interesting idea too. Hold on, let me pull up this video. Okay, so stealing aesthetics is also another thing too. I don't think JT isn't gonna like do a whole, like JT isn't gonna try and J-Lo Zara Larson. You know what I mean? So for example, with J-Lo and Beyonce, you can tell now, especially with all the J-Lo's later coming out, that J-Lo was definitely trying to copy Beyonce and reheat her nachos over and over again in a very disingenuous way. Like Shakira did it in her own like unique way with like the wolf and all that and her grand tour, but J-Lo did it in a way where like I'm talking like stealing her creative director to do certain performances and stealing her like performance creativity for her own performances to do. J-Lo is whack. So that's one thing, right? But if like you're putting on a cute little outfit and you're just posting it online, like that's not copy. That's like, I don't know. There's just like inspiration. But this is a photo shoot with Nylon Mag. Okay, that's cool. But like, she's not gonna. Like, I don't think JT's gonna do a whole rollout of like Midnight Sun-esque type of aesthetic. I don't know. She's just experimenting with stuff. I don't know. Someone said JT of Miami, Zara of Sweden, like they are the rulers of their respective place. I'm so sad fans are ruining this for Zara. She deserves the fame. I'm so annoyed right now. Yeah. I don't know. Mike, okay. Just Let the Girls Be Girls by Lorde. Yeah, really. Like, they probably just took inspiration. Like, Zara Larson definitely probably took inspiration from, like, Western American culture, definitely, for, like, this look. Like, Lisa Frank, graphic design, or spray-painted graphics on a t-shirt, all that, right? But, you know, JT, like, was probably inspired by Zara Larson. She liked the look. Like, I don't think, I don't know, that's just weird to me. I don't think there needs to be beef. And, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh well. I'm gonna pull up Reddit. It's time. It's that time. But I don't know. This is what I want to say. Zara Larson's really talented. I listened to Midnight Sun, and based off of the stuff that she came out with beforehand, Midnight Sun was really good to me. I know that influencers that are on certain other artists' payroll, I'm not going to say who, but they were trying to say that Zara Larsson had no, like, Swedish culture or Scandinavian culture in her music. Ignorant take. I'm not even Scandinavian. But I know that's, like, not true. Like, I'm not even, like, well versed in music like that, but I know that's not true because Midnight Sun, that single in and of itself, sounded like it belonged on Eurovision. Sounded like it belonged on Eurovision. So that was like, so you're on someone's payroll, right? But I feel like they're blocking her in the U.S. because they know that she, like, if had the right team, if the right record label really wanted to push her, she would be a storm in the U.S. And I feel like certain artist teams, certain record labels, I don't know, they don't want that to happen. But I feel like with things getting more globalized, inevitably it's probably going to happen. Like Cat's Eye is a multicultural girl group from a record label in Korea, South Korea, and they're doing phenomenally. Charlie XCX is from the UK. I'm pouring water in my beaker. I don't know. It's a fun way to intake, to get my water intake. But yeah, Charlie XCX is from the UK, and like she had a phenomenal year with Brat. So I don't know. Things are gonna get more globalized, and I think like America needs to step it up a little bit. When it comes to just music and entertainment, they just need to step it up. They just need to step it up, girl. They need to step it up. Okay, they step it up. Like you can't outsource, and you keep outsourcing stuff. Okay, all right. I don't want to sound like a bigot. When I say outsourcing, I don't mean like, oh, those damn immigrants. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's like a lot of executives will outsource the work so that they can work the H-1B visa people like literal slaves and not pay them their worth, and that's effed up. But I feel like we outsource so much that like even when it comes down to our talent, like it's just not there anymore. All we care about is vibes and algorithm. We don't actually care about whether or not, and like how well you can go viral. We don't care about whether or not you're actually talented, that you actually can sing, that you actually, have some sort of chops. You know what I mean? Like, and it's starting to show. Because I look at some artists now, like Tate McRae, she can dance. That's cool. I'd say Sabrina Carpenter is the closest one with the full pop girl package. And even then, like, she's basically reheating the nachos of Ariana Grande, if you really want to talk about it. And Ariana Grande, she's in like the holy trinity of like singing ass white women. So like, like I said earlier today, it's Yema, Renee Rapp, and Ariana Grande all can sing their asses off for some white women, right? So like, like she did the whole like 60s, 70s teen beach party, Audrey Hepburn aesthetic, like a little bit bad, like she originated it, okay? And it worked for her. And now she's in Wicked, killing it, But even like Addison Rae, like I don't know if it's just Addison's fans or Paola, but they really want her to be like the new Britney Spears. And her album was cute, it wasn't bad, but it's just like, okay, but Pink Panthers is right there, making better bops and working with other artists and like trying to force us, I guess is a way to say it, to consume these like individuals because of their star power on the internet. Where we're like so used to like traditional like media, like Ariana Grande got her start. See, Sabrina Carpenter is the closest to that, which is why she's been able to hold on to her fan base. But Ariana Grande got her start on Victorious, and before she was on Victorious, she was on Broadway on the show 13. And then when she was done with Victoria, she was just doing pop music. You know what I mean? Like, and then Sabrina Carpenter, uh, she did some. She won like a Hannah Montana contest, and then after that, she was on Girl Meets World. And then after that, she did a bunch of other little movies and did touring with Disney Channel. And then boom, she's like a pop star, and it like clicks into place. It makes sense. And then Addison Rae, even Tate McRae, right? Even though I'm not really a fan of her music like that, Tate McRae was on So You Think You Can Dance Kids. So she was already out the room dancing, like at 10, 11 years old, doing splits, all that shit. Okay, and then she like swings her way into pop music, and it's like, okay, that makes sense, maybe, yeah, you know. And then Addison Rae is just like, I was an influencer that stole TikTok dances. She was the correct timeline of what should have happened with the D'Amelio family, Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio. She's the correct timeline of that, because really the D'Amelios were set up to be like the next Kardashians. Like, that's what it looked like, and it, ultimately it didn't work in the end for them. But Addison Rae, out of the blue, out of nowhere, is rebranding herself as a pop star, and it's like, I don't know, you did TikTok dances, and now you're doing like weird interpretive dances in a Gucci dress, singing about Diet Pepsi. Like, I just can't take it serious with like this off-brand, lukewarm Lana Del Rey sound. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem genuine. It seems like we're stealing ideas. The album was cute. I'll give her that, but it's like, what does Jinsey call it? Performative. That's what it gives. Performative weird girl energy. Like, you're not actually this weird. Like, someone on your team and your fleet is the weird one, and you're just copying them. All right. So let's read some Am I Overreacting? Yes, we're gonna read some Am I Overreacting first. Then we're gonna get into Am I the Asshole? So let's get started. All right. Let me click on it. All right. So, am I overreacting? Someone asked me to make their wedding dress. Let's read the text, and then we'll read the text messages. I go to a local knit and natter group. Knit and natter? What is a knit and natter? And one of the ladies recently got engaged. Last group meeting, we talked about her arrangements, and she mentioned her daughter was going to be sewing her dress. Another lady piped up saying, well, you have OP here if your daughter has a hard time making your dress. I've sewn a fair bit in the past, which they know, but nothing wedding dress level, so I left it off, saying, oh, my sister, who's a much better seamstress, could maybe help, but I wouldn't really know what to do. Later that day, she messaged with the conversation above, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. I'm still fuming about it. I don't have the skills, inclination, time, or even sewing machine to make a freaking wedding dress, even if I wanted to. She's a very nice lady, so I do feel guilty for not offering to help, but mostly I'm reconsidering my attendance in this group. Am I overreacting? I haven't even read the message yet, but already, like, people, okay. And this is a group, and this isn't like a lady that you know personally, where she like invited you to her wedding to be a bridesmaid. People need to understand that the world doesn't revolve around them, right? Like, especially nowadays, because I know a lot of weddings, still happen, and a lot of people have been talking about, hey, I can't travel across country to this wedding and get this like wedding dress or get this hotel and lodging and all that to see my friend get married, and then like boom, the friendship falls apart, right? And I don't know, I feel like it's like the construct of marriage in general and like what it means symbolically in America, but it just feels like a lot of people, like, we put so much effort on the day of the wedding that we forget about like the days after said wedding. Like, we put so much effort into, like, the dress, the bridesmaids. You got everybody, like, freaking out and all that. The food, the catering. People are spending upwards anywhere between 10,000 to 20, 30, 40, 100 grand for, like, this bomb-ass wedding, only for, like, a divorce to happen in less than 5 years within the marriage. That's weird to me. That's weird. Like, just for a day. And, you know, people are crazy on TikTok. Someone said that, you know, for some women, that's all they have. That's the only day that they get honored, right? Is, like, their wedding. Which I do agree. Like, we celebrate women for doing the actions that is socially expected of them, which is to get married and have kids, while they're pregnant and, like, the day of their wedding. But then we also do not offer, like, any help or any olive branch after the fact. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, you're over here, like, preaching to women that you need to start a family, and you need to have babies, and you need to have these kids, and want, all this other nonsense, right? Like, you just preach that to these women. But then you don't offer olive branches, any means of income or support for when they do have the baby. You tell these women, like, oh, you need to marry a, like, you know, socially acceptable to marry a man, and to find a good husband, and, you know, have a good honorable marriage, right? But then, like, you don't offer, like, we have a bunch of, like, men who, like, don't know how to be good husbands, or people who just don't know how to be in relationships, I guess is a better way to put it. Gender war nonsense aside. And so, I don't know, it just really bothers me. It bothers me a lot. It grinds my gears. Because it's sad that we only celebrate women on their wedding day. But when they're, like, reaching out during, like, a tough-ass marriage, nobody's there to help. We celebrate women when they're pregnant. But when they're reaching out for help and support, nobody's there to help. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not like people are obligated to, but also it's just like, why is it like that? Like, it's a scam. I don't know. Anyway. Hi, blank. I would like to ask you if you are interested in doing my dress for me. Let me know if you would do me the honor. Like, and so that's another thing. Because I want to talk about Bridezillas real quickly. Like, where do you get off thinking that people have time out of their day to work around like, your special day? You know what I mean? Like, again, going back to, like, the wedding, like, my friend's wedding is out in, like, California somewhere, and I can't afford a plane ticket, and now the friendship has ended because I can't afford a plane ticket. Like, if it's really that bad and you need your friend at your wedding, then you front the money to take your friend to California. Like, weddings are expensive, dude. The very first wedding I went to in my life, so unorganized. So, some of my friends, like, they had to pay for lodging outside of the actual venue because, you know, the wedding planning was just horrendously organized. You know what I mean? And that, like, messed up their, like, income and their finances because they're over here like, okay, you know, we can't, like, we were expecting to stay here, now we're staying over there. Now it's like a half an hour, 45-minute drive to the actual venue. I don't know. It's just, people act very entitled on their wedding, and, like, I get it. Like, it's a big deal, but I also just feel like it's a sham. Like, you make it a big deal for this one day, and then after that, people be playing in your face during the marriage. Like, folks be playing in each other's faces during the marriage, having no respect. Don't treat the actual sanctity of the marriage like a big deal, you know? Anyway. Hi, I feel very flattered that you have considered me, but I have to say no, as I don't really sew for other people and definitely don't feel confident sewing a wedding dress. I thought your daughter was going to sew it. Yes, she said do, but she was lets me down at the last minute. I will send you a picture, then you may change your mind. I trust your capability, and I will pay you your time. I will pay for your time if you change your mind. Who has time to who has time to sew all this? I got the material that I would like to use for it already. We can do it together. Let me know either way. Thank you. No one has time to make this. Oh, that's very beautiful. I'm very sorry to let you down, but it's just not something I can take on at the moment. I understand. Thank you. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, so I thought I thought the lady was gonna send more, but she just kind of left it at that. Okay, that's fine. So, are they overreacting? Yes and no. I'm glad that they put boundaries of like I can't take on this wedding dress because I got other stuff going on. So sorry, I can't do it. Um, but I don't know. Bringing it to Reddit, like it seems like you handled it fine, and it seems like she's taking it pretty well. I don't know why we would be fuming about this. It just seems like you were like, hey, no, I'm not able to do this, and she's like, all right, that's fine, and that was the end of it. I guess maybe it's the entitlement, but it wasn't like she messaged you back and was like, well, I just find it funny how you're not able to do this for me on my special day. She just really thought that you could do it, and you said that she's like an older lady? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there does seem to be entitlement from the person who is sending her the messages. It seems like a lot of entitlement to just think that OP is gonna just like make you a dress, but also like they back down, so I don't really see the problem. OMG, the audacity of this lady. Seriously, you're gobsmacked and fuming? Yikes. I hope no one is actually ever mean to. Yeah, like it's just like maybe there was some miscommunication. Maybe she took things a little too seriously. I also wonder if she's from America. So like maybe like customs over where she's from is like, yeah, I'll do this one thing for you and I'll pay you, and that's that on that. So I do wonder about that. Or if she's just like an older lady. Um, but I don't think it's anything to be angry about. Like it seems like the situation was handled well, and I don't really know. I don't really know why you wouldn't want to go back to the knitting group. Now, if this lady starts acting weird towards you because you didn't want to make her wedding dress, that's one thing. But if she's just like, I understand, thank you, that's the end of it, then like I don't see the problem. At first, I was like, whatever, so she's surprised. But you're right, she did say she was fuming. Weird. Yeah, I don't see why you need to be fuming. Stuff like this is why I'm terrified to talk to anyone. Like, how many normal exchanges am I having that are sending someone into a fury when they're considered rage quitting a hobby group? Holy shit. Yeah. It seems like people nowadays are a lot more hostile towards each other. I kind of got that vibe when I was at Universal. Like, not in a bad way, like, people were in their own world, but it seems like people are less willing to connect with each other, I guess, or just have like like little small talk. And people are just like a little bit like on edge and anxious. And I think there's a lot of reasons. One, I think it's, you know, we were all at home during the pandemonium, but also I think that in COVID, I also think that it's because we are in our own little worlds a little bit, like social media and the internet. And like, you know, there's some good things that can happen with the internet and social media. You can connect with more people, but it feels like we socialize a lot better on there than we do in real life. And I think people get too comfortable with oversharing. And so, like, for example, this person made a whole Reddit post like, am I overreacting over someone asking if they can make their wedding dress, them saying no, the person saying, okay, I understand, and then them below saying that they're fuming about the whole situation. It's just like, why are we fuming? Like, it seems like an adult conflict was handled well. Why are we escalating? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, a lot of people, like, I get it, like, being perceived. A lot of people are terrified that whatever interaction they have with somebody, it's not going to pan out the way they think. I used to be like that a lot when I was in high school, where I was really scared of talking with people. And to an extent, I like, depending on where I am, like the environment. Usually, when I'm at cons, it's not really like that. Everyone's pretty nice. But like when I'm just like out in public spaces, I do get a little hesitant, but not too much because at the end of the day, I really don't care. But like people are just so afraid of like getting filmed, about being like a viral moment. You got folks out here filming folks' like private business, filming folks' arguments, filming folks' drama. Like it's just really weird. Like publicly filming them, it's just gross. I don't know. So yeah, I can understand why this poster is scary, right? Like, excuse me for asking, then politely saying I understand. Yeah, I feel like people are so on edge now, and maybe they haven't always been, but I don't know. I feel like our emotions are heightened, probably because things are stressful now. On the other hand, if you're writing speaking like the requester and the response is to be going and rage quit the group, but you never know. Sounds like a win to me. Yeah, yeah, and that's also another thing. If OP is willing to like quit the group, maybe they were like, I don't know, maybe they weren't a nice person to begin with. Because like, why are we like? It's never that serious, right? It seems like this conflict was handled as best as it could between two adults. Let's end it there. Please don't delete this post. It is nice to see you are overreacting after all these. My husband ran me over with a car. It's nice to see that you are overreacting after all these. My husband ran me over with a car. Am I overreacting? Or my boyfriend of 3 months can't stop sleeping with other girls. Am I overreacting? Yeah, it is nice to see it. I don't know. I just think that OP is freaking out a little too much, taking it way too personally, and like I said, it's never really that serious. Like it never is. Like you just go ahead and we go about our day. You know what I mean? Um, you can't make the wedding dress. You guys show up the next day. Go to knit club. But if you don't want to be a part of knit club, I don't know if you were a good person to be around to begin with. Like I don't know. Am I overreacting for telling my BF this is a fire hazard? No. You should not do this. As someone who used to have electric heaters, no. Came into the room to find my boyfriend was dry. No. Put it in the dryer. Where do we live? We live in New York. Hang it up or put it in the dryer. Because I know that in New York City, a lot of people don't have a wash and dryer hookup, so they just go to the cleaners. Hang it up or put it in the dryer. Don't do this. Came into the room to find my boyfriend was drying a fleece blanket that was still damp from the dryer on top of the electric space heater. He said it's not a big of a deal because wet things can't catch fire. Wet things can't catch fire. He's telling me this isn't a fire hazard and that I'm overreacting, and encouraged me to ask for Reddit's opinion. It's a bit of a fire hazard. Like, you know, like with electric space heaters, anything that you plug in that gets hot, like you should not put anything on it. Like leave it alone, give it space. Realistically, it shouldn't even be close to the computer. Just like every time we had a space heater in my house when I was in Connecticut, like it would be like in the middle of the room, nothing touching it because it gets really, really hot. And so the hotter it gets, the more things around it heat up. Like I would sit in front of my space heater like it was a fireplace, and I'd be warm, and then I'd just go back to bed, right? Like, don't do this. Don't do this. Come to think of it, I probably need to get another space heater again because my partner gets really, really hot, and I get really cold easily. It might be better for me to just get an electric space heater to just solve that problem. But, like, anytime you have a space heater, you want to put it, like, in the middle, like, at least a 3 feet equidistance away from everything. It's a fire hazard that it's up in the corner, and it's especially a fire hazard to put it on top of a blanket or put a blanket on top of it. Like, no, no, no. And the one time he forgets wet things that become dry, goodbye house and life. Tell him to stop. Yeah, no. This is stupid. Like, are we like? Are we not reading the instructions here? The instructions probably say, no, dude, don't take the towel off. It's not just that, but the heater itself can cause fire if water gets in it. Jesus. Ooh. I didn't know that. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. That's dumb. That and wet things catch fire. Like, yeah. Furthermore, anything electric that you plug in, you probably don't want to put water in it. Or anything wet on it, okay? Like you wouldn't put like a wet outlet into, or a wet outlet into a socket. Like, you would not do that. You would not do that. So that's weird. Let's see here. Textile scientists here. Cellulose fabrics, cotton, linen can be more flammable than synthetics. Some synthetics are self-extinguishing. Cellulose aren't. Protein fibers like silk and wool are self-extinguishing. That's why fire blankets used to be made of wool. Not saying it to undermine you, because many synthetics can be extremely flammable. You are correct. You are correct. Just wanted it to be crystal clear to anyone else who may be reading the comment that natural fibers can be extremely flammable. It can be so easy to misread something, and this is definitely not one of those things I want anyone misinterpreting. Yeah, and this person's saying they can be even more flammable than synthetics. So it's not like they can't be flammable. They can, they just might be more flammable. So whether this is actual wool or fleece or a synthetic fleece, you should just don't play that game. Don't play with your life. Dude couldn't pour water out of a boot if the instructions were on the bottom. Technically, it's called a lifeboat. Okay, everybody's just going back and forth. Not overreacting. Firefighter here. This is exactly the setup that caused the house fire, which burned through my gear and sent me to the hospital for 8 weeks. Polyester lights quick and burns hot. Yeah. You're not supposed to put anything on a space heater. You're not. You're just supposed to keep it in the middle, as far away from any other furniture as possible, and just let it heat up your room, and then turn it off when you're warm enough. Like, all right. Anyway, moving on. Am I overreacting, being upset about how my BF reacted to some period? Ooh. I don't know if I want to read that. Just not because it's disgusting. But because I don't want to get flagged. Am I overreacting? My husband wants me to cook elaborate meals for him late at night. I told him I'm not doing it anymore. He needs to do it himself. I am recently married to my husband. Everything is going great in our marriage except of his weird eating schedule. I primarily cook in our relationship and I enjoy it, but my husband demands that I cook elaborate meals for him late at night. I'm talking gnocchi, pies, and meat wraps. It wouldn't be a problem, but I get tired after... I get tired after working all day and it just drains me to cook at midnight. I tried to bring it up nicely, but he just says his mom used to cook his late night snacks and he expects is this real? He expects I continue that because he is used to eating that eating schedule. He seemed annoyed when I brought it up, and now I'm wondering if this is a red line for him. It caused a fight, and I told him I'm not doing it anymore. He now seems very distant, and am I overreacting? No, but okay, I'm getting tired of these gender war baiting conversations a little bit, and this isn't anything towards the OP, but it's just you can't convince me that there are a buttload of men out here that don't know how to do for themselves. I don't want to be convinced, I guess is the way to put it, but it's probably true. That don't know how to do for themselves to the point where they're demanding their wives cook them elaborate meals at a special time at night because that's that's just how they were raised and that's how they grew up. Like I don't want to believe that people are this dense in 2025 when both parties have to probably work, both parties have to bring in income. Like, I don't know, if my boyfriend's hungry, like with the, like, you know, I'm unemployed right now, so I can't really, like, I don't mind making him dinner, you know what I mean? If he wants it, or I make us chicken breast and we both eat off of that. But like I don't have a job, right? But if I did, like he'd be like, okay, I understand. Like you can't, you know, cook as much as you used to anymore. I'm gonna have to do some cooking. He does some cooking now, you know, like why aren't we teaching kids how to like grow up into efficient adults? Like why are we teaching like boys especially how to just keep being like man-childs? Like by the time you hit 18, you should know how to do your own laundry, you should know how to cook, you should know how to clean. Like that should be shit that you know. You should know how to run a home on your own just in case you have to. Like your mom shouldn't be chasing after you. That's cringe to me. Like why? Like if you really like, why haven't you learned by 16 at the very least to make your ass some elaborate meals to eat at 12 a.m. Like this is, I don't know, this seems rage baiting to me. I don't want to believe this is true, but it's just weird. Like, and then furthermore, like before the marriage even happened, why wasn't this ever discussed? Like when you guys were hanging out together. Oh, by the way, I like eating at 12 a.m. Are you cool with that? Will you cook for me? I don't know. If it were me, I'd be like, no, I'm not. Like, you need to get in the kitchen and cook for yourself. Not overreacting. Why can't he cook for himself elaborate meals at night if he wants it so badly? Yeah, I see nothing in this post that indicates he's incapable of being able to make food for himself. If he wants food like mommy made, then he can go back to home to his parents. That's another thing. Are we... And the answer is probably yes, but are we really coddling men to the point where like they don't know how to cook and clean and care for themselves, that if they want like 3 a.m. gnocchi soup, they can make them, they have to like nag their wives for it? No, like get in the kitchen and make yourself some gnocchi soup, or go to Olive Garden and pick it up the next day. Like what? Maybe he lost his arms in a terrible accident involving sharks and marshmallows. What? Pretty sure you nailed it. And even if he was somehow unable to, the least he could do is compromise these meals, getting prepared at a time fitting his partner's schedule, then warming it up for the actual mealtime he prefers. I am chronically ill and a lot of digestion-related issues and always changing schedules. Plus, currently my partner is the one responsible for meals in our home. Even if you have to rely on your partner in these kind of ways, they have a life too. A right for resting periods and compromises are they. This is just really weird. Like, I don't know. I just, if I can rant about like teaching people how to be efficient adults, like shame on the mom for not teaching their kid how to take care of themselves. Because this is embarrassing. Like, man or woman, you should know how to cook, clean, all that shit. You shouldn't just leave it for like, oh, well, that's what the woman does. No, because you might end up divorced. And it's just weird that he seems very distant about it. Like, nobody wants to cook for you at like 12 a.m., dude. Like, you cook for yourself. I don't know. Am I overreacting? A locksmith charged my partner sister $5,390 to get back into her apartment. Y'all, these apprentice jobs, these trades, they be making bank. Alright, I can't read any of this, but let's read the bottom. This has to be a scam, right? My partner's sister got locked out of her apartment the other night and called a 24/7 service in LA. Oh, that's your first problem. LA seems like a place that would overcharge for no reason. When a guy got there, he said none of the mechanics in the door actually worked, so he drilled into her lock and took the entire thing apart. It was in the middle of the night, so she didn't have much of a choice. When he was done, he gave her this bill. I thought she was saying it was $500, not $5,000. This has to be a scam, right? I'm furious now. Yeah, I'd be letting them take that one to court. It seems very scammy for LA. But it feels like, because there's just so many people, like, I don't know, it feels like there's a lot of money that goes around in LA. It just feels as if, I don't know, he's charging celebrity prices, if that makes sense. I wish she didn't put it on her card, but she lives alone and had this dude in the middle of the night basically robbing her at this point. She better dispute that charge, ASAP, and call Consumer Protection Division of your state attorney general's office. A locksmith bills more than $500. They also, if a locksmith bills more than $500, they need a contractor's license and a business license, which should be checked. The limit is apparently $1,000, according to a comment below. Either way applies in this case. I have a feeling this is like a celebrity locksmith, so he can upcharge because celebrities have money like that. But that's still messed up. This needs to be upvoted more. He licensed to charge more than $500. I work for a contractor in LA. If she paid by credit card, she needs to immediately dispute it with her credit card company that she was scammed. They will help do the due diligence of checking his license and will hopefully reverse the charge. Also, what's going on with the leasing office? There isn't like a 24/7 leasing office that will help her get back into her apartment in LA. I don't know, that seems weird. Damn, she already put it on the card. You can dispute it with the credit card company, maybe. But if she's already agreed to the charges, I don't think there's going to be much recourse. Maybe she could say she felt unsafe under duress, but I'd move on that fast. Yeah, this is messed up. Am I overreacting? He said Jeffrey Epstein's victims are dumb. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. But for this here, this is messed up. I don't think locksmiths should be charging $5,000, though I don't work a trade, so I don't know what the price should be for locked doors. It does feel scammy. One, we're in LA. But also, too, like, there's a lot of money, I feel like, that goes around in LA, so maybe he thought he could get away with celebrity prices. I don't know. But, yeah, hopefully she can dispute this. This seems messed up. This seems, like, not correct at all. $5,000 is excessive, but everything, like, in California seems expensive, so, and excessive, so it is what it is. Alright. Am I overreacting? He said Jeffrey Epstein's victims are dumb. I was watching an interview with Lisa Phillips talking about surviving Epstein. My boyfriend suddenly made a comment saying that this woman seems dumb. That's why she got taken advantage. We're doing this in 2025? What? That's why she got taken advantage of. Then why did she get in that situation in the first place, and why did she give him a massage? I felt confused and enraged at the comment and told him that no, she's not dumb, maybe naive, but that's normal at that age. Okay, Lisa Phillips, very quickly. Sorry, we're I gotta do research. He asked me at 21, former model was assaulted by Epstein. He asked me if I wanted to meet a prince, how Lisa Phillips survived grooming abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. She's now in her 40s, and at 20, Phyllis was 21 when she met financier Jeffrey Epstein and was sexually assaulted by him. It was only after his death in 2019 by suicide, was detained of charges of trafficking, girls as young as 14. Okay. She shouldn't be abused regardless. Okay, so let's go back. Maybe naive, but that's normal at that age. She shouldn't be abused regardless. Then he proceeded to say that women that he knows wouldn't be in the situation because they are smarter. and that out of the 100 women, there's no way that all of them would fall for that. To that argument, I have nothing else to say. I'm just baffled and enraged at how he and potentially a lot of other people out there think this way, lacking the empathy, and think they're above being abused, and that people get abused because they are dumb. There are people out there that fail to understand the nuances of being coerced and manipulated into uncomfortable situations, and it's not like they can simply press a no button to the abuse. Am I overreacting to those comments? Curious to hear your thoughts about these types of comments. Okay, so this is dicey, right? Because on one end, if you were 21 years old, which Lisa Phillips was, and some person's like, hey, you're gonna meet this like elaborate prince if you give me a massage and blow me off, you know, maybe be a little bit apprehensive. At the same time, whether it's not like a smart enough type of situation, right? Like, why would you be dumb enough to think that that's okay? People, like, what really pressured me off about grape culture is people don't really understand the extent to where people can be coerced and manipulated that you don't even know what's going on. A good example that I've heard of is like your homegirl's like, hey, like you work at a bar, right? And your homegirl's like, hey, you want to make 50K real quick? And you're like, sure. Like 50K real quick doing this gig, right? And you're like, sure. And in your mind, you're thinking this gig is like, oh, we're going to be serving drinks and, you know, I'm just going to bartend at another club. Then you get to like, or like it's a private event, I guess. Like it's a private event and you're at like some celebrity dude's house, right? Right. Then you get to the house and then it's not really you bartending, it's you busting it wide open. And you're like, wait, I didn't sign up for that. And then it gets to the point where, you know, whoever celebrity's mansion, or not even a celebrity, but just someone with a lot of money is like holding you hostage a little bit low key. You know what I mean? And so now it could be a trafficking situation. You know what I mean? Where it's like you came there under the pretense of bartending, and now you're over here being asked to do sexual favors. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm not a bartender, so there's probably like a boatload of like nuances that go behind whether or not, like, I would imagine like a bartender would be like, okay, so what's the event? What's going on? Where's the protocol? Where's this? Where's that? And if it's like way too creepy and way too weird, they'd be like, no, you know what? No, I'm good, right? But sometimes, like, I just really hate when the way grape culture works is that we shift the blame from the actual person doing the crime onto the victim. And if it's not the victim, because say they're underage, right? They're like 12 or 13 or 14. Which, you know, back in the day when I was growing up, it never stopped anybody. It just never, like, again, good example, R. Kelly, 14-year-old girl, him releasing himself on this 14-year-old girl. And I remember so clearly the women in my family, fully grown women, trying to shift the blame onto this 14-year-old girl. Nobody's doing that anymore, hopefully. They do it in more nefarious ways, but not so, like, outright of, like, oh, well, these little girls are fast. You know, like, they try to do it in, like, you know, discreet ways where they're trying to allude to the fact that, you know, fast little girls shouldn't be doing this or they get raped, you know what I mean? But, like, we're a little bit better with that. But instead of, like, you know, blaming underage victims, we go immediately to the parents. Well, where are the parents? Where are the parents? Why aren't the parents? Like, no. Why is the person doing the raping? Why is the person doing the trafficking? Because you can keep running around in circles about, like, and jumping through hoops about why didn't so-and-so do this? Why didn't so-and-so do that? Why didn't so-and-so do X, Y, Z, A, B, C? And then it gets to the point where people in power leverage their power to get what they want from other individuals. I remember having another conversation with my dad about Kesha, the singer who came out after like a decade or so, or like a couple years or so, saying that Dr. Luke had assaulted her. 10 years ago. Like, yeah, 10 years ago, I guess. And the first thing my father said, well, why did she come out now? Well, why did she come out now? And then, like, I didn't know how to formulate, like, what to say to him. But ever since the whole Diddy thing happened, anytime someone says, well, why did they come out now? Why did they wait? Why? Immediately I say because of a mismanagement of power, because of an abuse of power. And the example I would use is you're working at a job. It's a really good job. You like your boss until your boss gets a little too handsy on you and touches you inappropriately. And you're like, hey, dude, I don't like that. And now your boss is like, oh, well, you want to keep this job, don't you? And so hopefully you get yourself out of the situation and you're like, nah, man, I'm good. But then you do that, right? And now you're blacklisted from any other roles. Any other, like, regular 9-to-5 roles. They're saying, oh, don't work with so-and-so. He's difficult to work with. And so now you're out of money because you didn't go along to get on. That's how people in power abuse victims. And so I hate that there's so many resources out there now about rape and assault and rape culture and how it works and the power dynamics and how those work and how coercion of power happens and how, like, a victim's nervous system will change and react depending on how much stress they have, that it gets to the point where they don't even realize at this point they're being abused, right? I hate that all, like, there's so many resources out there to educate people on rape culture, and they choose to just align themselves with blaming victims outright. Now, there are people who lie. There are. Right? And I really hate going this route, but if you want to talk about, like, safety and accountability and all that other nonsense, yeah, let's have a conversation, right? Where, I don't know, maybe don't go walking by yourself out at night. But whether you go walking outside by yourself at night or in the daytime, or whether you're just in a public setting or where you're around people that you thought could protect you, or you're around family members that you thought could protect you, okay? We have to stop shifting the blame on the victims or on the victims' parents. And we need to start, it just... What is over there? Okay. It just pisses me off so much because we've seen this before. In 2015, with the Me Too movement, we were having excessive conversations about, a lot of conversations about rape culture and how rape culture works and, like, what you need to look out for. So we've been here. Now we're here again with the Epstein files. And we still have people, like, Epstein had a ring. Epstein had a ring, okay? And he was trafficking minors, okay? And we're still over here like, well, where are the parents? What? Huh? It doesn't matter where the parents are. Aren't you disgusted by what Epstein's done? Yes, I'm disgusted, but where are the parents? Stop talking about the fucking parents. Stop talking about, like, why didn't you? Because it doesn't matter what you do. You don't know what you're going to do in a situation where you could have this happen to you. You don't know what you do in a situation where you could potentially be blacklisted and out of work. When stakes are high. Yes and no. He is kind of right. It depends on the circumstance and the age of the person. If you're 35 and get tricked into a wedding, then you're dumb. If you're 10 and your mom traumatized you as a kid to make sure you never get into a car with a stranger, and you still did because they tempted you with something you never thought any would offer you. Anyway, empathy is a thing. Yeah, okay, that's a way to look at. Someone said ew. I don't know. I like to go with the mantra: if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true, you know, but people get desperate. And here's another thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't know the details about like Lisa Phillips and what happened with her, but how many like actors and actresses have and singers and artists have came out and said like have been promised like movie roles and you know music label gigs and all of that, and then the executives are like, well, you got to do me some favors in order to get that role, you know, and it like you've been working your whole life towards that and you feel like you have to do that stuff. Like, I don't know, it just, or even like kids, even like with children, and you know, oh well, like Dan Schneider, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like if you want it bad enough, sometimes you can be swayed, but also it does do you well to take precautions. But this isn't me blaming victims in any way. Acknowledging that Jeffrey Epstein was a sociopath rapist is one of the few bipartisan topics left in America, complicity of the president aside. Imagine how much of a deranged FUCK you have to be to outright defend him. That's your point. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody who anyone who's defending Epstein. That's not even like a litmus test indicator. That's I can't even talk to you. Nor victim blame, not overreacting. Victim blaming sucks. If somebody actually, okay, another example is me and my boyfriend were in this Uber heading to dinner, and something had came out about T.I. and this 14-year-old girl that was at this sex orgy, and she had no business being there. Again, not victim blaming, but it came out that he did things to her, allegedly, if that's from what I remember, right? And we were talking to the Uber driver, and immediately they were going off about the whole situation. And I just remember my boyfriend was sweating bullets. He gets hot easily. And so, but she was going off about the situation, and she's like, I don't know. Where are the parents? She just seems a little too fast. And I'm just like, lady, just drive the fucking car. Just drive the Uber, bitch. Why are you on the wrong side of history with a 14-year-old? So already I was just over her. And I turned to my sweating boyfriend and I'm patting him dry. Because he's sweating bullets. He is sweating a storm, and I'm already I do not like you, because let's just say this wasn't real, right? Let's just say the 14-year-old went on her own volition, whatever, right? She's 14, bro. Kids do dumb shit. What are you doing right now? Drive the fucking Uber. Put the fries in the bag, bro. Not overreacting. Your boyfriend definitely sucks for that, to be honest. I don't think your boyfriend should be your boyfriend anymore. Because it's not him just defending Epstein. It's him, co-signing a whole, a ring. That's actually, trafficking. That's actually, kidnapping people and shit. And, maybe that's jumping to conclusions because he just said this lady is stupid. She seems dumb. Why would, you know what I mean? But there's too many resources out here with everything going on for some of y'all not to understand how trafficking works. There's too many resources. For you, for the unks and aunties still out here defending Diddy, for the Epstein apologizers, that's a big red flag on either side. Whether you swing right or left, that is a huge ass red flag. Oh, stay away from me. All right. No, I don't think you are. As much as I am a proponent for keeping yourself safe and always erring on the side of precaution and being suspicious of everyone and everything, the perpetrator is always at fault. Always. Nothing absolves the perpetrator. Would you commit a crime for the right price? No. You always choose not to do something bad
no matter how the circumstances are. If you choose to do something wrong, that's always going to be on you. Maybe some things make it slightly justified, mitigating circumstances, blah, 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 but the choice was yours unless you had a gun to your head. These guys choose to prey on young women. Nothing changes that fact. That's a good way of putting it. Like when we look at criminal cases, right, or anybody who commits a petty crime, like stealing, you choose to do the stealing, you did the crime, you have to do the time. Why is it with rape? Why is it with rape and assault? It's the runaround. Well, she shouldn't have. Like, why are we blaming the criminal? Or why are we blaming the victim? When a bank gets robbed, we're not over here blaming the teller and the bank and all of that. Some people will blame, like, if they get mugged, some people will blame the person who gets mugged. Like, well, why were you out at night? And it just feels like, okay, bro, stop. Why was the person committing the crime? Period. End it there. Before we get into it, why was the person committing the crime? Why? Like, why? Like, come on. Like, you know, and that's just for anything. Before we start talking about how this 14-year-old girl is too fast and she needs to stay in a child's place and wah, and all this other nonsense. Why is a grown man fiending after a 14-year-old girl? And don't give me that, oh, well, these girls look so old for that. No, they don't. And even if they do, let's just say they do. As soon as they start speaking, you can absolutely tell how old they are. As soon as they start speaking. So no, don't this stuff pisses me off. Your boyfriend is blaming those 13-year-old children for what happened to them. Why do you want to be with someone like that? Yeah, that is true. And again, I even side-eye the people who are like, well, where are the parents? A little bit. Yeah, I side-eye them too, because it feels like they are avoiding the fact that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a good person. So if you say, where are the parents? And I tell you, oh, well, the parents co-signed this behavior and made their kid do it. Now what? Where are we going with this? Are you still going to try to jump through hoops to blame the kid? Like, no, Jeffrey Epstein's a shitbag. If it's like a both things can be true situation, yes. Like, Jeffrey Epstein is a shitbag. And where the parents are also a shitbag too for exploiting their child. But, like, it should end always at the criminal who did the crime is the bad guy. Again, when somebody robs a bank, we're not over here like, well, why didn't the teller do that? And why didn't the people in the bank act according? And why didn't? No, we're not doing that nonsense. We're like, this man, this robber, committed a crime. He needs to go in jail. Why can't that be for rape and assault? Because of grape culture. Because of how the way the world works. Okay, so we're going to move to something a little bit lighthearted because I can't keep talking about that stuff. That's going to irritate me. Am I overreacting? Is this guy just intense, or are these red flags? Need outside perspective. I matched with a guy on a dating app 4 days ago. At first, he seemed confident, direct, intentional, which I liked. We had good conversations and even exchanged a few voice notes. But over the last few days, something started feeling off. I want to know if I'm overthinking or if these are legit red flags. Here's the stuff that stood out. He kept asking for a phone call even though I said I wasn't comfortable yet. When I didn't text him for one evening because I was exhausted, he sent a voice note saying, yesterday was a blackout. Communication is important to me. Consistency is important. I don't do disappearing. Day 4 of knowing each other, he also put a big red flag that I sometimes skip questions. When I teased him about how intense he was being, he said, I can't demand anything from you, and you can't demand anything from me. We both have preferences. One of them shows respect and the other doesn't. His tone changed after that, more serious, more disappointed. When I tried to clarify things, he responded with, why are you bringing up things we blessed? The pressure level feels way too high for such early texting. So am I being reasonable, or are these actual red flags? Okay, more ginger nonsense. All right, to the guys out there, a lot of this like male alpha male like red pill advice is leading you down a dark path. Okay, like y'all are over here trying to be like fake pseudo alpha masculine men.
all right? And you're scaring the host. Like, you're scaring the, like, chill out. Like, this girl don't know you. And I've been in this situation, too, when I was single. There was a guy who really wanted us to hang out, and he really wanted to take me on a date, and eventually I found out that he was just trying to, yeah. And I remember one thing that stood out to me, what he said was, like I said, okay, so I don't really know you, I don't know who you are, so, I really want to take time to get to know you first before we, like, go out on any dates, which is fair. Which is fair. You should take time to get to know someone before you go out on any sort of date with them, right? And immediately he was like, he said something along the lines of, well, I don't know you either. For all I know, I could be taking you on a date and you can be stealing my money. You could be taking me out of like $300-400 on a sushi date. And I'm over here like, sir, you're worried about being out of $300-400. I'm over here worried about losing my life. You're over here worried about spending a free meal on a woman. I'm over here worried that you might be a serial killer. And that I might not see tomorrow. Because you're trying to push me into a first date. I don't know you, sir. We haven't talked long enough. I would like to take things slow. I just got out of a breakup. Like, easy. Like, what are we doing? See, and that's what that red pill nonsense has you do. Has y'all thinking that like y'all aren't thinking logically. Y'all aren't sitting in the shoes of a woman and being like, okay, she might not be comfortable with this. Like, me pushing her to go on a first date is a red flag, so maybe I should just get to know her. And if it's really that bad and y'all are casually dating, maybe find someone else to spend. Like, I don't know. Happy birthday to your grandma. 87 is pretty amazing. Oh, and yeah, it's a red flag now. You ignoring things. I now feel like you're friend zoning me. Whoa. We don't even know each other. Haha, red flag. Calling me that for skipping a few questions, but you're already demanding consistency on day 4. Whoa. I can't demand anything. Like, you can't demand anything from me. We both have preferences. I prefer consistency, and you prefer being able to skip messages. Funny, because one of those shows respect and the others doesn't. Okay, I guess that's her name. I just want to feel like we're making some progress here. That's all. Okay, we can't get a brace. Another thing I think would help is if we talk in person. Like, instead of sending voice notes, let's have let's do a FaceTime call. Let's do a phone call so I pick up what you're putting down. Voice notes, that's not like genuine connection. You can't match each other's energy. You can't pick up on each other's vibe. All right? Y'all need to be having this conversation talking. All right? Because maybe he could read the room a little bit better. I just want to feel like we're making progress here. Progress where? This is day 4. The fuck? That's all. I just understood why we didn't talk on Friday. Blackout, consistency, red flag. I don't do disappearing. You're disrespecting me. Progress, constant phone call push. Oh yeah, they're hesitant to do a phone call push. And I mean, that's her prerogative. She's still trying to feel him out. That's fine. Yeah, no. That's way too much for 4 days of texting. I can't. Why are you bringing up things we blessed? I enjoy talking and getting to know you, and I like that we share some values. That said, the pace and intensity of the last few days is a bit much for me, so I don't think this is going to work. Don't push that button yet. We do share some values, but we have struggled to align on certain things. This is so technical. I respect her for holding her boundaries firm. If her boundaries are, I don't know you, I don't feel comfortable calling you, sister, I get it. I respect that. I respect that, because people are crazy now. And, like, the whole construct of dating on an app is dangerous. Like, you could be catfished, and you don't know who you're bringing home. Like, it can be dangerous. I would leave your last message as it is and block him. You've said what you needed to say already. You owe him nothing else. Move on. Yeah, he's like moving very like roughly in this situation. Gosh, is this how dating is now? This is weird. I agree, block him. He's just trying to manipulate you back into the conversation so he can try and gain control. I bet if you do re-engage that he will be the one to try and say this isn't going to work. You called him on his BS and his little ego can't stand it. No, you won. Yeah, it does seem that like he's being a little controlling. It seems like it seems like he's doing that podcaster shit. Yeah? He's doing that podcaster shit. Where he's like where he's like, I respect, I want you to respect my boundaries, and I need you to, in order to work with me, we need to build trust with each other, and so you have to do boom, 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 all of this in order for you to trust me. Like, whoa, dude, I don't even know you. You're asking me to trust you in the same way I trust my own father, in the same way I trust my family members. I don't know you, my guy. Easy. Like, this, block and move on. He's not just a walking red flag. He's got blinky red lights around him as well. Yup, you're overreacting in that any reaction at all other than to block and move on is too much. Don't give it another thought. Literally, do not let this guy occupy any more of your time and energy at all. It's day 4. You shouldn't need to be making yeah. We're on day 4. Progress on anything. Day 4, you should still be all giggles and sunshine and butterflies. Yeah. You shouldn't even be sunshine and butterflies yet. It's day 4 of texting. They haven't even spoke yet. Way too soon for butterflies. He's a Reddit post waiting to happen. Yeah, this is weird. I would get really annoyed if somebody messaged me like this. What happened to like just talking to people? I've been so out of the dating loop. But like talking to people works. But people are so afraid to talk nowadays. Just weird. Just weird. Just weird. Alright. I'm gonna take a 15-minute break and then I'm gonna be right back. Maybe like a 5-minute break. I might end things in the next hour or so. It depends on how I'm feeling. But I'll try to stay on here for 4 hours. I'm still recovering from my vacation, so I'll make a decision then. But yes. I'll be back in a minute. hello, I had to eat again. I had to eat my meal. I had tilapia, sweet potatoes, and spinach. Um, I realized that on my trip, I got like really, really bloated, and so I was like, why am I getting so bloated? What's going on? Um, and so I vowed that when I get back, I'm gonna get back on track with my diet. Um, and it's basically the same thing I've been doing for a while. I would say these past couple weeks it's been pretty rocky because I was waiting to get my unemployment so I can buy myself my own food and all the specific things I need. But I'm still measuring my food out. I'm still measuring my portions. It is a, how do we put it? A constant effort to try to eat out less, eat out significantly less. Constant effort, but I'm working on it, and it's hard. But I want to get to the point where I don't desire to want to eat out. Um, but I will say, like, not having a lot of sugar helps. And okay, like I always like to make this disclaimer. One, I'm not a fitness professional, medical professional, so like consult your medical professional or fitness professional before if you feel moved to do any of the things I'm doing. But two, um, I'm not saying that you should like restrict yourself from like sugar entirely. Like that's not what I'm saying. Or I'm not saying to like cut things out. Um, from what I understand, whenever you're trying to eat healthier, you should always see it not as a what you can't have and what you can add on. And so some of the things I like to add on to my diet is like, like I can have more vegetables, I can have zucchini with my meal, all of that. And, this Wednesday, me and my partner are going to go out to eat because it's going to be Thanksgiving Eve. So we're going to eat somewhere. You know what I mean? Because we're not really going to do Thanksgiving like that. So it's all about balance and moderation. But it's tough. It's tough to do it. It's easy to say, but it's tough to actually do the thing. But it's working. It's working out. I also got the fitness app on my iPhone, and it's been really diligent about keeping track on how many steps I take out of the day. And it's helping a ton because I feel like I've been overwalking for a while. I always thought like an hour and 40 minutes was 10K steps. And so, there would be times where I just use my clock and I would just, walk for an hour, and then not realize that I might be overwalking. Like instead of 10K steps, I might be doing 20K steps. And with the feet issues I have now, I don't want to do that. And so the fitness app helps a ton. And so far I've been walking 10,000 steps. But when I was in Florida, something I realized in Florida is that my feet didn't hurt as bad. And I don't know if it's because it wasn't that hot. It was really hot out, so like it was easy on my joints. I know a lot of older people like to move to Florida because when they have like arthritic or chronic pain, the heat helps with it a ton. I know that that's true. But I started to realize that there might be something in this apartment that I'm allergic to that is giving me a lot of like the issues that I'm having. Because even when I work out, I struggle a little bit. But when I like am out walking, I'm fine enough. And I also know that when I eat a lot of sugar, my feet get inflamed. And it's so weird. It's just the bottoms of my feet. So if there's any medical professionals out there that know what's going on, but it's like the bottoms of my feet are what ache the most and keep me from wanting to like exercising the way I need to. But after that, I'm good. Like my hands are good, my legs are good. It's just the bottom of my feet. But I was walking like 20K steps a day when I was at Universal, and that alone, like, I'd wake up the very next day and I wouldn't be sore, I wouldn't be in pain or anything. To be fair, I was taking Tylenol PM some days because I was worried about that. But for the most part, I was just good. Um, like, I was, like, the day we left, I didn't feel like I had to take anything. I just felt like I had to get up and go to where I needed to. And my feet didn't hurt. Like, my feet felt sore, but they didn't feel like they were aching. So I don't know what's going on with the backs of my foot, but I think I might be allergic to something in this apartment. And girl, we gotta move out of these apartments. These apartments are raggedy. We could be saving so much money if we moved out. Like, I'm over these apartments. Fourth time our tub broke and they had to fix it. We were out of a shower once again for another 48 hours while we were out of town, and let them know, like, hey guys, by the way, you know, our tub is broken. Can you fix it while we're out of town? And we thought, oh, it would be convenient for them to just go in and fix the tub, no problem. Tell me why. They have another tub. The tub vendor comes in this Friday, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't use the tub for another 48 hours. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, you can't use it for another 48 hours. I'm like, no, that's not right. So I sent a strongly worded email about what the hell's going on. And you know, my partner's like, well, at the very least, I hope I can get a discount. He didn't get the discount for next month's rent, but we made a deal with the leasing office, and he said if they said that, like, if it breaks again, then we can give you a discount on the apartment. I think at this point, like, these apartments are really nice, and the maintenance team is really, really good. But I'm just, like, annoyed over this whole situation because I'm coming from a place of these places aren't cheap. It's a lot of money to live here. Our tub shouldn't keep breaking. Like, it should not be this bad. Like, they're doing a great job in handling it, but I think the price point for, like, simple things like tubs cracking is just, like, getting to the point where it's too much for me. So, yeah. Another thing I did a lot was I wore my hair out. I wore my hair out like this. I got some stares too, which was kind of funny. Like, people who were like, I guess, you know, didn't know what to make of, like, my hair looking this way. Which I don't really care. But I also discovered, as I'm going on this natural hair journey, I discovered that I'm at the point where, one, I don't need to use heat to stretch out my hair anymore. I just need to have a good detangler, whether that be conditioner, regular detangler, and then I can just braid my hair. And then anytime I want to take it out, I can just take it out and then braid it back up. One. Two, I also realized that if I do get too tired and I want to wear my hair out a lot more often, something I can do is just twist it and then braid it into two little dookie braids and then put it up in the back of my hair. So I don't have to, like, do elaborate braid outs every time, because I realized by the third day of me taking out my hair from a braid out, it was a little excessive. So I just put it in twists, and it still got the job done. And it actually stretches my hair out a lot nicer, and it gives the same effect that I will put my hair in for, what's it called? The flexi rod sets I used to do. So now I don't have to really do flexi rod sets like that, and now I can stretch my hair without heat. And that's good. That is what I want. Tomorrow, I will be washing my hair. I wanted to wash my hair tonight, but then I realized I don't want to sleep on day of hair. I just kind of want to wash my hair tomorrow and go outside, go for a walk, and then, you know, have my hair dry naturally on its own. But tomorrow I am going to wash my hair, probably early in the morning, because I am breaking out, as you all knew. Like, there isn't a lot of products I can use on my hair, because it will, like, the more products I use, the more it will show up on my face. So I will be washing my hair tomorrow. I also noticed that when I was outside, because I'm sweating, like I could smell my hair and it smelled like sweat a little bit. And I didn't like that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to wash my hair tomorrow and get out all the product, all the grease, all the curling cream that I have in here. And it's not a lot, but it's enough to break me out, and I don't like to break out. So yeah, that's the plan tomorrow. And then on Tuesday we are gonna do the remainder of The Wolf Among Us, and then we can play some scary shit. I'm scared. All right. So yeah, let's go back to the Reddit stories. Okay. Okay. So no, you are not overreacting. This guy's a creep. Yeah, dating culture sucks now. I don't know what's going on. Like, okay, we're at the point, a lot of people used to say, don't believe everything you see on TV, right? And then it shifted to the internet once we realized how much of the impact the internet had. And then a lot of people will say, oh, well, the internet's not a real place. I am starting to realize that the internet actually is starting to become a real place. Like, people are taking so much influence and insight off of their favorite influencer, favorite content creator, favorite podcaster host. Like, they're taking so much insight and thought and advice from these people who do not have the credentials. Will do everything. Will support folks as Patreons, send super chats, buy membership plans and all this other nonsense. They will do any and everything but get an actual therapist or work with an actual therapist to figure out how to self-actualize. Someone who is not a medical professional, but like has all the credentials and experience to know what type of advice to give you based off of like who you are as a person and what they know about you and what you've told them and what you're dealing with. Like, I just find that so crazy. I find that crazy. Like, and now you got guys over here demanding that, you get a phone call out of them after day 4 of just talking and getting to know them. Like, what? Like, and just being, like, very abrasive. You got dudes over here who are like, I don't want to go on the first date. I don't want to go eat dinner with you. I actually want you to, like, walk with me to my car. I got some flowers for you. I want to see if you trust me. Like, just weird stuff based off of the advice you got online from random dudes who probably don't even know where the clitoris is. I don't know. I just find it interesting. It's not just the dudes, it's the women too. Yeah. Like I said, I watched this video of a guy who said that straight women are the straight men of the straight men of women, right? And I absolutely agree, because having standards and boundaries is one thing. And it's completely okay to have super, super high standards. Or to have super specific things that you want to do or a lifestyle that you want to have, right? That's one thing, okay? It's a completely different story if you're over here talking yourself around circles about what you want from a guy, but then also, like, what you're expecting is something completely different, right? And I use the example of, like, you can't, as a woman, you can't demand that a guy be strong, alpha, masculine, all of that, right? And then get pissed off when he doesn't want to share his emotions, or when he is like, oh, I don't want to do that shit, that's girly shit. Like, you can't have it both ways. If you're gonna try to stick to the binary of what patriarchy demands out of you as a woman and out of, men, then, that sucks for you, and I hate that for you. But like, if that's how you want to choose to live your life that way. And you demanding like this one hyper specific version of what masculinity should look like, when there's different versions of masculinity that can show up. There's soft masculinity, there is like intellectual masculinity, like it can show up in all different types of ways, right? And if you just see like alpha masculine dominant type energy that podcasts telling you is what it's supposed to look like if you see that and that's what you want, basically toxic masculinity, and then you get frustrated when the toxic masculinity doesn't work in your favor, when you can't benefit from the toxic masculinity anymore. Personally, I feel like you have no one to blame but yourself, because you keep chasing after this idea of like this facade of, you know, what a man's man should be, when, I don't know, at the end of the day, I feel like we're just people. We're all just people. We're people's people. And, you know, we all have different types of energies. And it could be leaning on feminine, masculine, neither. I don't know. I don't really, like, it's your thing. But at the end of the day, you gotta really figure out what you want and what you're asking for. You know, you might be on your sprinkle, and that's fine, but like, understand what that might entail. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're like, sprinkle is basically code for getting a sugar daddy. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, and it's like different because you're you know, dating up and you're dating hypergamously, right? But you're dating in mind with the idea and mindset of getting a provider man. That's no different than a sugar baby looking for a rich man to support them. Now, for me, and this is my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with either one of them. I don't see anything wrong with, you know, someone engaging in hypergamy and wanting to date up and dating outside of their tax bracket. I get it, because people have been doing it for years, and quiet as it's kept, marriage is a business contract. It is like, it's not really meant on love and romance and all of that. It's a business contract. They're convincing you that it's based off of love. But really, at the end of the day, it's to keep wealth within close circles that you can trust, right? So I get it. And sugaring is a job. Swipe work is a job, whether you want to admit it or not. You pay taxes, it's a job. Okay. All right. But I feel like one gets celebrated while the other gets demonized, when neither one should be demonized. It's just how you choose to live your life, and both have connections, like really strong connections with each other's, and overlaps and parallels to each other, that like, if you're trying to sprinkle, you gotta know what's up and what that might entail. Like, are you really willing, like, if you're trying to sprinkle and date someone who's like 50, 60, 70 years older than you, right? Or, yeah, 50 years older than you, like an old guy, right? On your Anna Nicole Smith shit, right? If you're really trying to do that, are you okay with what that might look like for you? Are you okay with like dating an old dude? Are you okay with sleeping with an old dude? Like, you know, Sprinkle advice will tell you, oh, well, no, it's fine, it's okay. Like, you know, get your bills paid. Love isn't serious, all that. But like, is that really who you are as a person? Are you really on that man-eater shit? Or are you really just looking for love? Because there's nothing wrong with you looking for love. There really isn't. You know? And there's also nothing wrong with it if you do want to sprinkle. And just in the same way, there's also nothing wrong if you want to sugar and you're aromantic. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of it. I just feel like one is being... We went from... I bought a boot and this coat for this wet ass P word, right? And then to like sprinkle, wear your best Zara, and find you a provider man. And it's just like, both are the same, low-key. I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me tell you, I got this. One is a little bit vulgar with it, but you're basically, I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me tell you how I got this ring. that's overlapping with like a lot of the sprinkle stuff that's coming out, right? So I don't know. To clock the woman real quickly, I just hope y'all really understand what you want in a relationship. Like, if you really are just dating for like status and money and means and resources, I get it. Do you? But like, understand the risks. If you're dating for love, I get it. Do you understand the risk? There's a lot of risks if you date for love. If you are not interested in dating at all, like, I get it. I understand. Assess the risk. There's risks with that too. Everything has a risk. There isn't I feel like with people we forget that things aren't black and white. There are shades of gray, and you can't look at things as, oh, well, this isn't working, so we just gotta jump to the next thing, you know? And just because, you know, city girling didn't work or isn't working anymore or is deemed as like less desirable nowadays doesn't mean hypergamously dating is going to be any better. You know what I mean? Because y'all are basically doing the same thing. And when I say hypergamy, I don't mean like I would like to date a guy who makes the same amount of money as me, if not the same, more. That's not what I mean. But like, I mean like, I want to marry a millionaire. Okay? Like, that's fine. But like, when you marry the millionaire and you got all the designer, quiet luxury handbags, like, just know you're in the same boat with the city girls. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, one isn't inherently better than the other. And it's always good to have your own. So, remember that. Alright. Update. Am I overreacting for thinking my BF is just looking for an excuse to break up? I did it for him. I didn't see the original post. If you didn't see the original post, here it is. To be clear, you can see the context here. Oh, I got context. Okay. 31 female, 33 male. Dating for about a year. He asked me a while ago for items that I might want as a gift. So I sent him the wish list I use that has probably 15 to 20 perfumes. He was sweet and got me 3 bottles, but they were from Dossier and not the real product. I think it's very sweet, but I want him to save his time in the future because I don't want dupe products. I want the real ones. But he took it the wrong way and it gives the impression he's just looking for a way out anyway. There are plenty of other things on my list that are cheaper, not brand names, serve functional purpose. I think his big overreaction is just him looking for a way out more than anything, but I wasn't going to egg him on in text. Our relationship has been completely fine and normal. I am the higher earner than him, which he said doesn't bug him, but maybe it does. IDK thoughts. Okay. Edit. I can't keep up with the comments at this point, but I want to clear something up. The perfume he got me was not the same exact perfume, just in an off-brand bottle. It's not made at the same factory the way generic cereals are. They're dupe perfumes, so they are cheaper. Lower quality, less silly. Yeah, the Dossier is a cheap perfume brand. That's what they're known for. And Ochako? I think it's the name? Ochako? No, Ochako. My Hero Academia. It's something like Ocha perfume. Ocha. Not Ochako from My Hero Academia, but Ocha. Ocha's the same way. They make dupes of popular perfumes, and then they even have Ocha's a scam, y'all. And do you remember when all the content creators were advertising Ocha and like, buy Ocha, all these clean perfumes? And then it would get like really hard for you to like break out of the membership with them. Yeah. So this is Oksha, and it's like Dossier. So let me pull up Dossier. And these aren't real. These aren't real perfumes. Like these are dupes of the perfumes. And some say it smells just as good. But like if you buy the actual perfume, there's a little bit more longevity. You know what I mean? There's a lot more longevity and mileage. Whereas like a Dossier perfume. So if you get Valentino Born in Roma, that's gonna last a lot longer than a Dossier perfume dupe, because that's gonna last you like maybe like 6 to 8 hours. A Dossier perfume dupe is probably gonna only last you like 4 or 5, maybe 3. And so, yeah, maybe she should have said that at the beginning, because I don't think a lot of people know that about fragrances, that there are dupe companies that make dupe fragrances. There's also companies that make like fragrance oil that lasts a long time, and it's still the dupe, but it lasts very long and it smells very good. So I love me a perfume oil, and that's a way to, I personally think it is a way to get a cheaper version of really expensive perfumes while having that longevity. Perfume oil is always gonna last longer than regular perfume. But anyway, moving on. It's not made at the same factory the way generic cereals are. They're dupe perfumes, so they are cheaper, lower quality, less sillage, less longevity. They're imitations. The issue isn't that I want the brand name on the bottle, it's that the perfume itself is bad. So that's fair. Yeah, the perfume isn't that good. I can see that. Because I've heard real reviews of these perfume companies outside of like influencers, like trying to get a promo code deal out of their out of their audience, who are just like, no, girl, like this stuff sucks, right? I also see people who are like, no, this stuff is pretty good. So, edit 2. Several people have also asked when this took place, and to be clear, he gave me the perfume over a week ago when we were together in person. I said thank you then, and we went about our separate days. The entire reason I brought it up was to make sure he doesn't continue to waste his money buying me stuff that's not going to get used. So that's fair. I don't want to say nothing and him ending up thinking I want more. Yeah, with perfumes, it's weird. You don't want to buy the dupes of perfumes if you're trying to have longevity, I guess, with them. Unless it's a perfume oil. Perfume oils work pretty well. But then you have to worry about whether or not they smell artificial. Okay, so now we have the details. My post got a lot of responses that I was prepared for. Some very insightful comments too. I appreciate everyone who talked to me. I know I was probably going to break up with him over the way he spoke to me, but I want some insight into his perspective. In the end, it just wasn't worth trying to have a bigger discussion with him, so I broke it off. Savage. Okay, I like that, Miss Savage. Moving forward, I'll make a new wish list for anybody who asks me for one to avoid. New wish list for anyone who asks me for one to avoid it. I've never had an issue with a man buying me perfume before, so it really never popped in my mind. I know some of you are really stuck on the why did you text this part, and the only real answer is just that we used to text for pretty much everything. I don't see it as impersonal or anything. I'll try to avoid having serious talks over text and misunderstanding. Edit. Adding this at someone's suggestion. No, I did not ask him for a $500 perfume. None of the perfumes on my list, the list that he asked for, were $500. Okay, people are getting weird about this. Even if she did, like, he asked for the list. You know what I mean? He would have had to see the name on the perfume on the list, ignore the direct link to where it could be purchased, and look it up to find a completely different formula. And again, this is a list that he asked for that includes everything I want to buy, from perfumes to pants to changing cords to a new snow brush for my car. So I like that this lady has standards. I like that she's like, no, my standard was I wanted these items from the list. You did not get any of these items from the list. You got the off-brand version, which is not of good quality, when you could have just bought something cheaper on the list. You know, my mom used to do that a lot, where she would get like the off-brand cheaper version of stuff. Which you save a lot of money, but it's just like you could do that, or you could just buy the things I want directly on my Christmas list that I directly want. and we can like and then you not get the stuff that you can't get. You know what I mean? Like don't give me the great value version, you know. But you know, I'm still grateful. But I do like to see it when you know women have standards like this, because we're taught to like suck it up and be grateful that they even got you something at all, and it's like, no, I wanted this, they didn't get it, it's fine. Anyway, we having to talk about plans for my mom's Thanksgiving. Are you ignoring me? I'm not mad about the perfume stuff anymore. I get that you're into brand names and all that stuff. I'm just not used to being with girls who care about that shit. It caught me off guard. I think it's time we break this off and just go nice. Go our separate ways. I just don't think I can trust your reaction and how you spoke to me. What the fuck? Over that one fight where I kind of got upset? Are you serious? So I'm not allowed to say anything or react in any way when you basically spit in my face for not buying you brand name perfumes that are $500. You care more about a label on a bottle of perfume than you do our relationship and everything we've done. You won't even admit that you're wrong. The fact that you still... I like this person because they were like, you know what? Actually, I'm good. The fact that you still think it's about brand names when I told you it's about how you spoke to me is enough for me to know that this is the right decision. I wish you the best. Enjoy being alone for the holidays. Single at 31 is pretty much as pathetic as it can get. Someone is coping. No, I like this OP. I don't think they're overreacting. I don't know. Call it toxic. But no, I don't think they're overreacting. Because I can see, okay, there should have been a conversation. I think that OP's ex-boyfriend should have done. OP's ex-boyfriend should have been like, listen, I'm going to be real with you. I can't afford, like, these perfumes. Say it's like Kayali, right? Okay. Say it's Kayali, right? Kayali ranges anywhere. See, and see, this is how perfumes work. It ranges anywhere between, like, you can get a small size, a travel size for like $29. You can get a $32 size. You can get $100. So, like, you know, these perfumes aren't, like, depending on the size, they can be like $500, right? But, like, usually you can get, like, a travel size and it just be enough and, like, not that expensive. And you still get the quality of the perfume, right? So I say all that to say that, with the Kayali perfume, you know what I mean? Damn, I forgot my train of thought. Damn it, I forgot my train of thought. Anyway, usually perfumes come in different sizes, and so if they come in different sizes, it doesn't mean that immediately you need to buy the 3.4 fluid ounce. And so I can see how OP is taking this. It's like you didn't go out of your way. Like, in my mind, in her mind, she's probably thinking, oh, he's like gonna go out of his way and do the research to figure out what type of perfumes I want. But it's like he went out of his way to do research on these perfumes, right? And then went to get the cheaper brand, right? And it's like, no, I wanted Kayali. Why, Kayali Yum Bougie Marshmallow. Why are you getting me Dossier? What is going on here? When, like, this whole bottle of Dossier that's $27.71 with bad quality fragrance is the same price as the mini size Kayali travel package that you could have gotten me. You know, it's like stuff like that. It's not about, like, getting a $500 perfume. It's like the effort. But even as, like, the boyfriend, if money was an issue, you could just call her up and be like, hey, so I'm trying to get you these perfumes, but they're a little bit on the pricier side. Would you mind if I got you, like, a travel size? Is that possible? Can I do that? And if they're like, no, I want you to give me the big size. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. And she dumps him. I mean, that's her prerogative. I mean, we're strict around here, right? But usually that's kind of what happens. At least that's what happens with me and my partner. Where he's like, I can get you the smaller size. I can't get you the big size. And I'm okay with that. people are struggling to make money. But I know that, I don't know, this is breeding grounds for division. A lot of more gender conversations. Okay. Okay, let me read the before story. Or maybe I don't need to. I'm not going to read the before story. But yeah, I don't think they're overreacting, personally. I think that they're 31. That's their business. I think maybe this will be a learning curve for her boyfriend to understand, like, okay, if I give you a list, you know, you don't get what's on the list that you can afford, or don't get anything at all. Because I would be a little annoyed, mildly annoyed, if I asked for, this is Baccarat. Okay, so I would get mildly annoyed if I'm asking for Baccarat Rouge 540. That's a really popular one. Oh, we don't have that here? Okay, hold on. Baccarat Rouge 540. Okay, this is this is an expensive perfume, but like, hang on with me, okay? I'd be pissed if I $1,000? Okay, so I'd be pissed if I wanted Baccarat Rouge 540, but like the travel size, because this is like really expensive, $310. It's expensive, and then you get me Swevin, or you get me what is the other one from that Brazilian Sol de Janeiro, number 67 body spray? Like I'd be a little upset. I didn't ask for Swevin. I didn't ask for Sol de Janeiro number 69% body spray. I asked for Baccarat Rouge 540. Why are we not getting Baccarat Rouge 540? To be fair, Baccarat Rouge 540 is $310. But, like, Kayali, for example, which is a little bit more affordable, the travel size is like, the travel size should be like $29. You know what I mean? And so that should be cheaper for you to get. Why didn't you get what I asked you? I don't know. Let's read what people say. He called his reaction kind of upset. Oh, you definitely dodged a bullet with this one. Wishing you the best, OP. Right? If that's kind of upset, I would hate to see him really angry. Good Lord, yes. Yeah, all the ladies are going to be like, oh, leave him, sis. What did he say? So I wanted to talk to you about the gifts. If you have a minute, sure, what's up? It was really sweet of you to get me the perfume, but in the future, please don't get me dupes from like Dossier or Oksha. I know it, so she's nice about it. I know it seems like it's a bargain, but when I say I want a perfume, I want the actual perfume and not a knockoff. Is it because you want the label? Not exactly. It's more like dupes are inferior products with less longevity. That's true. They don't always smell the same, and yes, the packaging too. It was so much cheaper to just get the Dossier ones. Does it really matter? It matters to me because they're luxury items that I'm saving up to get or reward myself with. So if you don't want to get me the real stuff, it's okay. You can always just get me other stuff. Okay, like, that's fine. Like, she just put up a boundary. Like, it seems kind of IDK, but this is rubbing me the wrong way. Oh, it seems kind of superficial and bratty to throw a temper tantrum. That's not a temper tantrum. She's just like, oh, by the way, just get the name brand because this is why. I don't think that's a temper tantrum. Over not getting the brand name item because someone wanted to give you all of the ones you wanted. I even read reviews to see what other people thought. Those reviews are lies. Those reviews are bots and content creators trying to get a promo code to see what other people thought, and they all seemed okay with it. So maybe this is how I find out you're a lot more superficial than I thought. That's not really super, like, if you're not into perfumes, you don't understand. It's not really superficial. Whoa, I'm not throwing a temper tantrum at all. I know they're not. I said thank you and just asked for future instances that you skip the perfume. I'm not mad at you for anything. You kind of are, to be honest. When I say I want a perfume I want, the actual perfume and not a knockoff is toddler level. No, it's not. Okay, so we just talked about Sprinkle Sprinkle. Okay, so this is where Sheriff Seven's right in this regard. Like, I think she dodged a bullet, because if she's asking you, because, like, I'm assuming she's getting perfumes that, like, travel size aren't that expensive. And then maybe on her wish list, like, maybe, like, Delina, is that the name of it? Parfums de Marly, Delina. Maybe she gets herself Delina if she's feeling spicy, right? But it's like, you don't have to get her Parfums de Marly. Okay? You can get her a travel size version of Kayali. Or a travel size version of Dior. This is $100. But even then, like, they do have travel sizes of these perfumes, and they are cheap. And it just seems like, maybe we didn't do our research. We just thought, okay, let's just get the cheaper versions. And she's just putting up a boundary. Like, hey, next time if I ask you to get this thing, get it. Like, don't get the other thing. That's setting up ground rules. I don't see what the problem is. And see, I feel like we tell women that, like, oh, well, you should just be grateful and put up with it. And then 20 years later, you're married to somebody who treats you like shit. Okay, let me... When I say I want the perfume, I want the actual perfume, not the knockoff. Is toddler level temper tantrum shit. I'm getting disgusted by this, because in my mind you were not like this, but to find out you are is so unsettling and unnerving. I'm worried that I'm wasting my time. Okay, why don't we talk about this in person? IDK, I'm just coming across harsh or what, but I'm not upset. You got... Yeah, they're not upset. They're just like, oh, by the way, you got me perfume. Yeah, like, I'm kind of disgusted by this, because in my mind, you were not like this at all. Oh, okay. No, I don't know if I want to see you at this point. I went out of my way to 1, look at your wish list. 2, think about what you have talked about. 3, pick several items from it. 4, get you the exact product, just in different packaging from a less trendy company. But you didn't get her the exact product. You got her the bootleg. You got her the Shein version of perfume. You did not get her the same product. That's like, hey babe, I want a Pandora. I want a Pandora bracelet. And you're like, all right, bet. Let me get one off of AliExpress. No, you didn't get her the same thing. Come on, dude. No. Get you the exact product, just in a different packaging from a less trendy company. 5, get berated for it. But you didn't get berated. She was just like, hey, by the way, next, I thank you for the products, but next time make sure you get the actual products, because they're not going to last that long. I appreciate the products, but just in the future. At this point, I'm just fully disgusted. Oh, okay, we're overreacting. If you got me some store brand mac and cheese, but it's not mac and cheese, it's not the same. As someone who buys perfumes, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's really not. Handbags might be the same. But like, even then, if you're like, baby, I can get you anything you want off of this list, and I ask you to get me the special Virgil edition Louis Vuitton bag, right? And then you get me like the bootleg version, and I'm like, well, I thought you were gonna get the actual thing. What happened? I would be a little annoyed. I'd be like, okay, this is weird. Like, thank you, but also, why couldn't you get the real thing? Annie's, I wouldn't say shit. I'd accept it gratefully, but you just had to open your mouth. Oh, okay, okay, chill, dude. I think there's a disconnect here, because I'm not trying to berate you. No, what you're doing is telling me what I got for you isn't good enough for you, and you care more about the name on the package than the scent. No, but like, you don't understand. You don't understand. The scent isn't the same as the name on the package. And I'm pretty sure, like she said, it was really sweet, but in the future, please don't get me dupes from like Dossier. Was it the quotes? Did the quotes throw them off? I know it seems like a bargain, but when I say I want the perfume, I want the actual perfume and not a knockoff. Is it because you want the label? Not exactly. It's more like, she explains it, it's more like the dupes are inferior products with less longevity. They don't always smell the same, and yes, the packaging too. So, okay, I'll play devil's advocate and I'll say, okay, maybe not saying yes, the packaging too. But it feels like even if she said that, either way, this guy would have popped off. Because in his head, he's thinking, oh, she's a superficial harlot and only cares about one thing. And it's like, no, dude, you don't understand how these perfumes work. You don't understand how these perfumes work. Okay? Dossier and Oksha make affordable perfume brands. That's fine. But they're not going to last long. And it's a thing, it's a matter of, well, if you're not going to do it right for me, then I'm going to do it myself. And like I said, if he really was pressed for money, it would have been more, like, I would have appreciated if he would have been like, hey, these perfumes are expensive. I don't really have money like that. I'm thinking about getting like the knockoff. Like, are you okay with that? What are your thoughts? And then she could be like, you know what, not really, but hey, you can buy me other things off of the list. That's okay. That's fine. Like, or hey, maybe you can get the more affordable perfumes, but in travel size. That's also fine. No, what you're doing is telling me that you got what? Okay, package and the scent. You care more about the name on the package and the scent, which I'd figure since it's the perfume, you wouldn't care what it comes in. I said it was sweet of you to get them for me, but I'd rather just save them to get myself as a reward. Because, yeah, okay, so, oh, I hate it when people do this, bro. I hate it when people do this. So, it looks like what happened is OP sent the wish list and said, it would be sweet of you to get them for me, but honestly, I can just get them for myself. It's not that serious. You can get the other things. Because that way, seeing them on my shelf is a reminder of what I accomplished. Nah, how about I just never get you a gift again? See, okay, we're overreacting, bro. After you just spat in my face, she didn't spit in your face, and told, so, this is also, okay, let me finish. I'm all over the place. And told me my gifts weren't good enough just because they don't come in some fancy bottle. In fact, I think I just saw the real you, and to be honest, I'm just disgusted. I don't think you're the right kind of girl for me. If you care more about the brand names than what's inside the box. That just reminds me of all these superficial Insta whores, and it makes me... Bro's crashing out. Bro's crashing out because he doesn't understand. It's not about label. It's literally not the same fragrance. Wow, I'm sorry for saying anything. Yeah, I bet you are, because now you showed your hand and I see the real you and you thought you could hide it forever. He should have dumped her. He should have been like, you know what, this isn't working out. F off. This is weird. Insta whores. Do people really get pressed over Insta whores? Is it really that bad for people? If I was dating, I would never show anybody my Instagram. I wouldn't. I'd be like, I don't have any. I don't care if I'm lying. I don't care if I don't get lewd anymore or like not safe for work. I'd just be like, I don't want you to have access to my Instagram, because you see a bikini picture and immediately, because of how things are just so effed up with like all the propaganda on the internet, you think I'm an Insta whore. I don't have time for that. Meanwhile, you're probably fapping off to the Insta whores that you can't afford. Bro, she was very nice. She was nice. She was respectful. If anything, like, he's just popping off. He was waiting for this moment. He was waiting for this crash out to tell his homeboys, to be like, no, I know my worth. Like, bro, if she said, hey, these are the perfumes I really want, but I'm just gonna buy them myself as a reward. You don't have to get me these perfumes. You don't have to get me these perfumes. I want to buy these perfumes myself as a reward. And you look at those perfumes and you're like, oh, I can't afford that? Then get the things that are cheaper. I don't know. Should there be a disclaimer when you like explain that, like, by the way, don't get the Okja and the Dossier. Those aren't the real perfume brands. Like, but you shouldn't have to explain, right? No, but he was crashing out. Meanwhile, he thinks she was throwing a temper tantrum like a toddler because she thanked him and politely explained why she preferred the real deal over dupe. Yeah, like she explained it. Some women won't do that. Some women will be like, "Why did you get me this dupe, you idiot?" And she spit in his face and was disgusting. If single at 31 is pathetic for you, which it's not, it's 2 years more pathetic for him. I think it's so funny when people try to say things like that. Correct. Congrats. Sometimes being single is a person's, like, greatest piece, you know? Why are we crashing out? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, for real. Single at 31 is amazing. And being single, well, you're respecting yourself no matter what age is even. Yeah. I'm proud of her. I'm proud that because she just explained it. And I personally, okay, so I would do a phone call and be like, okay, it seems like there is a disconnect here and tensions are rising. And depending on how they respond, because already they're very hostile in the text message. But, like, when you have to talk to someone in person, like, over the phone or face-to-face, you know, people, like, let their guard down a little bit. People are less likely to get hostile. But I would use that to be like, okay, listen, I'm not trying to say that I'm ungrateful for what you got me. I'm just explaining that in the future, because there are not the same perfumes. They're not the same perfumes. One is made by a cheaper company. Another one is made from the actual company. I would prefer that you, with better quality ingredients, I would prefer that you get that one instead. If not, then please just get me the cheaper items, and then I'll get them for myself. Or call me up and be like, hey, some of these items are a little expensive. Do you mind if I get those items? And I know some women might not like that either, and that's fine. You know, they're allowed to not like it. But, you know, at least it's communication. Right? Instead of just being like, no, you're a superficial Insta whore. Like, bro, easy. Like, we're projecting. What Insta whore were you trying to smash? Who left you on red in the messages on IG? Why are we crashing out? It's never that serious. It's never that serious. And it also doesn't even warrant this whole rant of, like, I'm disgusted by you. Really, like, a real G would be like, you know what? Like, how she handled it. You know what? This isn't working. Let's move on. It seems like we want two different things out of the relationship. Yeah, you disgust me when you want someone to know how much you like them? Weird. He was absolutely laying the groundwork to manipulate her going forward. Glad she saw through this BS and dumped him. Yeah, definitely. And okay, so that's another reason why a lot of, like, dudes don't like older women. Because, like, when you're, like, 31, you can see through the bullshit. When you're 31 and you got your own bills to pay and you got your own shit for yourself, you can kind of see through, like, okay, dude, like, but, like, imagine her at 25 or 22. She'd be like, no, I'm not trying to be ungrateful. I'm just trying to explain. No, see, that's why. It has nothing to do with the proverbial wall. It never does. And no matter at what age a woman is. It never does. It has everything to do with control and manipulation. It has everything to do with, I can control a 19 to 20-year-old. I can't control a 31-year-old because she's been around the block a couple times. Because she's smarter. Like, that's all it is. And it's pathetic. Ugh. How much you want to bet this 33-year-old man is probably going to go seek after a 23-year-old? Yikes. Guys are weird. Yeah, but I don't see anything wrong with this. She explained it. I think if anything, maybe a follow-up phone call to just kind of explain what's going on. But like if she didn't want to give a phone call, the way he was talking to her was like wild. Wild, wild, wild. And she even said, no, you know what? She even said there's a disconnect here. I think we need to talk about this on the phone. I think there's a disconnect here because I'm not trying to berate you. Yeah, and then he just took like she just said, "Hey, I'm not trying to berate you. I'm just explaining what's going on and how this works." And he's over here like, "Well, no, you didn't do this and that, and you're an insta whore." And it's like, "Okay, dude, all right." So I'm glad she ended it. Good for her. But yeah, for future reference, they make smaller travel sizes of the actual thing. And like, see, this is $60. The big one is like $225, right? But the travel size, or it's $60. And is that still a little pricey? Probably. For a little itty bitty perfume, for some people, yes. If you're cheap like me, yes. But like, something's better than nothing. Or just be like, I didn't know Rihanna's eyes were so green. Or just be like, hey, I'm gonna get you the other stuff instead. Like, it's never that serious. It feels like he's been in this situation before, and he was just waiting to pop off. All right, so we're at the 3 hour and 45 minute mark. I think this is where I'm going to end things. This is where I'm going to end things. Yes. It's been really great, guys. I had a really fun time talking to you all after I've come back from my trip. I hope to talk to you guys on Tuesday and Thursdays. Yes, and on Sundays, we're back to our normal schedule. I will be finishing up the last chapter of The Wolf Among Us. Then I will be moving on to probably like the horror anthology Telltale games. I'm having fun with the Telltale games, so it should be fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my stream tonight. I will see you on Tuesday around maybe like 6, maybe earlier, for about 4 hours or so. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Now going into Monday, technically. And take care, guys. Bye.